Right, it's recording now, boys. So it's actually recording. So do we want to say something?
Can we get an 8 count first, mate?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Alright, so we are back. It is your boys Stephen and Alex, and today we are joined by 2 guests. And
What up, internet?
Also members of Also in Sleep. So are they guests? Stay tuned to this episode of Dragon Ball Z. We have Connor and James.
Hello. that was a weird hello. But
So
Very quiet from you, Connor.
it'll do.
well,
So-
to be fair, I probably shouldn't lean back from the mic.
No, that's very
That
very
probably
true.
doesn't help.
But now
I'm a drummer. I hit things. I don't use these.
that's fine. But speaking of hitting things, do you want to do the sponsored crack?
Can I finally open this?
You
kind
can
of
finally
sat
open.
here?
You can finally open your drink.
And now a crack from our sponsor. Sound, cheers.
Crisp.
That was crazy.
That was really nice, actually.
So yeah,
I've been practicing since my last time on the podcast, like months ago.
Excellent.
every day.
Ooh,
Um,
that's really nice.
No, that's a good beer, man. That's a good one.
Siren.
We are no, we don't mention the names unless you want to pay us.
I'm drinking redacted.
But yeah, so we've had a busy couple of weeks, so we went a bit dark on doing the poddy just because, boy, we have had a couple of weeks, haven't we, boys?
We have, yeah.
So
We have been busy.
which
The
we-
odd things happened, yeah.
which we'll get into the past couple of weeks, and we're also going to do this is like a big special episode which we'll get into. But first, I want to run the boys through some totally not interesting metal news that's happened recently.
I wonder what it is.
Oh no, it's apart from the obvious one that we'll come to later.
Okay.
There's a few things that I found over the past couple of weeks, but I completely forgot about this one, so I'm glad that I wrote it down. So, Padge from Bullet for My Valentine
Okay.
did an interview recently with Loudwire. It was a video, but I basically skimmed a bit and basically got to the main transcribes and stuff. But there was a bit that really stuck out to me as really weird. You know how Bullet for My Valentine basically came up as that small little band that then got really big off the Poison?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, it turns out there may be a bit more to it than what we thought.
Okay.
Cool.
Drama.
While The Poison was being written, Matt Tuck also had a job in America as a songwriter.
Interesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For whom?
I didn't say.
Just generically.
Basically, it was an interview with Padge. So obviously, Bullet for Valentine's entire thing was, we've worked really hard and grafted to get to it, which was, totally fucking valid.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
Probably did to a fair bit. But it's more the fact that he didn't casually drop. It's like, yeah, so then Matt spent most of his time in America as a songwriter. And I'm like, what?
Since when?
That's a hell of a fucking change.
That's just like such a sudden, random little bit of info just to throw out. And I'm sat there going, what else don't we know about Bullet then?
Probably quite a lot, if I'm
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, I don't mind.
yeah.
So that's that. Yeah. So I thought that was just a bit weird because it was a bit like, oh, that's a.
I mean, I suppose if it's getting like connections and stuff, and that's maybe why the Poison went up so well.
Possibly.
Which-
So that was
We can't complain, you know.
that was my line of thinking, but it was
Yeah.
just a bit of a
It's definitely an inroad,
yeah,
definitely.
100%.
But hey,
Cool.
more power to
Yeah,
him.
fair
And
enough.
it's an incredible album. So
So yeah, there's the conspiracy theory. Was The Poison sponsored by the CIA and the Deep State?
Steve will be bringing up his new show on GB News.
I think I'm a bit too mental for GB News, mate. 'Cause I
I
think
don't know.
my topics on the pyramids and stuff. I don't think they'd really vibe with.
Maybe not on this podcast.
It'd be making it more. I was going to say it's been 5 minutes. I've already made it political.
Fucking hell. So yeah, we'll move swiftly on from that. The next one was a article that I read that genuinely gave me a little bit of a giggle.
Okay.
Kerry King.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, here we go.
It turns out he's now discovered, after being in Slayer for a million years and basically being a headliner band, that now because he's released his solo project, which is the really interestingly named Kerry King Band, that it's hard. He's now realised it's hard being in a band.
Oh, that there's graft.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
You can't just turn up as Slayer and do
Yeah.
whatever the fuck you want.
Once you're not
Yeah.
the kings of the world, yeah, sometimes it takes a bit of effort and you've actually got to,
Yeah.
grind. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
what's he actually
yeah.
been saying?
He's basically just like, yeah, so since I'm no longer headlining all the time, it's actually really quite difficult, and I've got to make sure that everyone gets paid and stuff, and because we're now like
Oh, because
second.
he doesn't have people for that anymore.
So he's basically trying to operate the whole, essentially, Slayer, back package of, having the crew and everything, and all this stuff, without the Slayer's, intake. Mm-hmm. Oh.
Oh, and I can imagine he's not even getting around on tour buses or anything anymore. The tours are nowhere near as big. He's not going to be anywhere near as comfortable
He
as
has
what he's used
realised
to,
being
right?
in a band is actually hard again.
Sorry, guys, I'm back in the transit. I don't want to kill myself.
Yeah, basically. We've not each got the massive fucking sleeper vans.
Kerry
What do you
King.
mean I can only bring 4 guitars? Come on.
And to be fair, especially with like his really wank looking customs that he's got, they take up a fair bit of room as well.
Yeah,
big as he is.
you're not wrong.
I mean, as
You're
a
not
man,
wrong.
as a man who owns a Kerry King Signature V, it is as big as me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not hard.
No, it's not.
5 foot nothing.
Look, yeah. But yeah, so I thought get a laugh at the fact that we must take time of our busy schedules and underground band no one's heard of to really send our thoughts and prayers out to Kerry King
Oh no.
because he's struggling like the rest of
I
us.
hope he's having a lovely time. If he doesn't think he can do that slotted download, I'm sure we might be able to cover it.
I mean, to be fair, I could probably play a guitar solo better than he is.
Yeah. I'd be willing to give it a shot, honestly. I don't play guitar, I'd be willing to give it a shot.
Just make noises.
That's it.
Who needs theory here?
It's the drummer version of playing guitar. You hit things, make noise.
That's it. Yeah, just blast as fast as you can. You're good. Yeah, this is just
Yeah.
hit as many notes as fast as possible. You're good. You're Kerry King. Let's get it.
Wave your left hand about on the fretboard.
No, you're not.
And to be fair, like me and James do regularly send things back and forth, and we both categorically agree that Kerry King's solo project is wank. It's so mid.
Yeah.
It's so mid.
Fuck's sake.
But yeah, that's what it is. So, and then I've
Just before the last one.
Oh, that was a meaty one.
That was nice. It was good.
Good.
but yeah, so I've got 2 more. The next one is the one that everyone knows about.
Wait,
It's been
can I-
coming for a while.
Slipknot news.
It's the Slippy K section. Yeah, shocking no one.
I think it's a jingle now.
Yeah, it's been.
It is now, Connor. I didn't know I was going to do that beforehand.
That's going to be a thing now.
We've been covering Slippy K news for so long now. It's like
Because Slipknot are a good band and lots happened with them.
Eloy Casagrande is officially in Slipknot.
Oh, who would
Yeah.
have
Who'd have
guessed?
guessed it? Huh?
Like, I was pissed about Jay leaving, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
I feel it's one of those awkward ones. It's like I feel bad kicking out one of the best, but you're replacing him with one of the fucking
No, you don't.
best.
You are replacing one of the best with the best.
That's it.
Well,
it's like
Again, it's all subjective, but Eloy is fucking up there.
Here's the thing for me, like, and no shade on Eloy Casagrande, but they kicked out Jay for wanting to go in a different direction, and then they picked up Eloy Casagrande.
Yeah.
Like,
Not
they
really
are
a-
very similar drummers
Yeah.
in terms of technicality and how hard they hit and everything.
I think
like-
it's more of a vibe thing. I don't think we'll
Possibly.
ever truly understand why Jay was fired.
No. We
But
were never in the
in
room
terms
with
of
that, no.
if you had to pick someone who can do the Slipknot style, especially the way that Eloy's been in Sepultura for so long, doing that style of stuff where it's like very like Brazilian like music inspired
in
and
your
stuff.
face and just raw.
And
Yeah, but that's the thing. There's Jay's a lot more precise and technical, where Eloy is a lot more like. It looks it as well when you see him playing, like a lot of like outward aggression and power. Like he's moving around a lot more physically. He's going. He looks like he's going harder. He's not necessarily actually playing harder. Like Alex said, Jay plays really hard, but
But it's when you see like a guy swinging his entire arm. It's not
Yeah.
just like his bicep.
It's
or his
the
tricep
showmanship
moving.
side of
It's
things.
yeah,
To
be
that's
fair,
it. It's
like,
just showing off the
Eloy
plan.
is
He
known-
looks
he's a very
aggressive as
physical
he
drummer.
plays.
He's known for playing hard. Like,
yeah.
like
it's one of his things.
And for Slipknot, that's what you want.
Jay has a degree in being a drummer.
That's it.
Eloy is a drummer.
That's
like
it.
those are two completely
I mean,
different.
It's the different
Like
takes.
this whole like apprenticeship versus like trained thing, right? You've got like the trained people who are like, yeah, sure, I got this on paper, and then it's like you Jay's the one, and you've got like the Eloys who are like, I have fucking lived this. I have beaten on these drums this entire
That's
time.
it.
And
To
they
be
have,
honest,
they
I
have
wouldn't-
earned their stripes, and everyone knows it.
I wouldn't discount Jay from being a
Not
drummer.
at
Oh no!
No, not in the side.
And we forget that Jay was in Slipknot for 10 years. Like,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
has earned his stripes as well.
That's the bit that always gets me. That it's
No, so what I mean is obviously Jay's a really sick drummer, but like he's like very like a clinical, whereas Eloy is like a fucking like you just let him go, and it's like it's
True,
it's a different vibe basically. Not saying that Jay didn't have that because Jay did
It's-
completely
it's-
rip.
It's slightly less contained aggression.
Yeah,
basically.
like the whole
Which
thing
again,
is like
for a band like Slipknot, is what you want.
It comes down to like that whole thing with like one thing in particular they're really not doing with Slipknot is playing with a click. Like they don't want to. They don't want to use a click at all.
We get into that whole thing.
They've got that whole push and pull thing. But with like a band like Slipknot, it's such a like energy based thing. At some point, you've got to drop out. You got to slow down. You're a human. You need to breathe and like take that space. But then you got to really, really hit it and really go in full pelt. And you just want some songs to be a bit faster. And I feel like he's got that a little bit more, whereas Jay was like, let's try and middle all of this and kind of like hit the middle ground.
Yeah, get the consistency across the set.
Consistent, so it's a bit more linear. Whereas Eloy's like, you want to go fast on this one? I'll show you fucking fast. Let's do this.
Yeah, I mean,
there's ebbs and flows.
He's got that in him to really.
I mean, it's like the way that he plays as well. Because like when I saw Sepultura at Bloodstock and they dropped like Territory and stuff, where it's just like
something else.
Oh no, the maraca. Maraca nearly went off the table. But yeah, so it's stuff like that. But the worst thing about this whole thing is like while this entire Slippy K shenanigans been ongoing, we've still backed the band. Like we're just like, okay, whatever they do, we know it's probably gonna rip.
Professionals, they know what they're up to.
Yeah. But it's like the fact that people online are just like, oh my god, but like Eloy, and then oh fuck Jay, it's like, just shut up, bro.
What?
Like your forum message boarding, bickering, your little kids.
Yeah, that's
they
exactly
all
it.
shred. They're all adults, and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
And Jay's found his feet pretty quickly as well.
Yeah, like it's like
Suicidal tendencies.
given-
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
sorry, yeah.
Thumbs up.
Oh, but
Wow.
they're so fucking good.
So good.
it's,
Well, talk about clinical speed.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
It's that's precise.
it's just such a pointless thing to get into an argument about. It's just like, will the new stuff rip? Probably.
Yep.
Will
Yeah.
Slipknot completely smash it live? Yes.
Always.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything outside of that, I'm not that bothered. Like the last couple of Slipknot albums, I've not been mad into, but there has been a few singles I've gone, all right, these bang.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like overall, what the vibe has changed. Like we're not releasing Iowa next year. You know, like
But I also think that Slipknot are one of these bands that wouldn't need to release anything ever again.
No.
oh no,
Because
like,
they are a live band.
They,
Oh, yeah,
they are a
like-
live band in like for the rest of their lives.
And you go see-
half their set at the very least
You
is
go
going to
see,
be
you
their
go see
first two
Slipknot
albums.
and you want to go see Psychosocial, you want to see Duality, you want to see like Eyeless, you want to see
You want to see
People
Surfing, you
Equal
want to
Shit,
see Sid, you want
It's essentially like Slipknot have hit that point in their career, like a lot of bands do, where theoretically you don't even need to drop an album. You just basically write one or two good singles that work live, and then you're away.
Yeah.
You don't really need to do anything.
Not
because-
even that. Maybe for the record label's sake that they want them to keep releasing music.
Well, yeah, because otherwise Roadrunner will collapse.
yeah,
Because as we've established,
Yeah.
Slipknot are the only band on Roadrunner that anyone listens to.
yep.
That you can't even fact check me because
Sure, we talked about this last time.
we
James was on
did,
the podcast,
we
I
did,
think.
and we just went, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right, let's move on from that.
Yeah, that's such a shame.
War for Slippy Tory. That was so
What?
bad. Wow,
What was that?
bro? I'm tired. Leave me alone.
Did you just call Slipknot Tories? I'm not sure.
No, War for. Never mind. It's a simple
Moving
story.
on.
Right. Last bit of news, and the only way I can really introduce this is essentially Old Man Yells at Cloud.
Again.
Okay.
Glenn Benton from Deicide.
Oh, okay.
The man who famously carved a inverted crucifix into his forehead to prove how metal he is. It is pretty fucking metal.
It's pretty metal.
It's just a shame that Deicide are pretty mid.
In fact, the best thing he's ever done was that thing on the Roadrunner United song,
yeah.
Annihilation by the Hand of God.
So, which also had drums by Joey Jordison. For
Yeah, you see how it all comes together. All comes together.
Again, Slipknot keeping it alive.
So, essentially, he's come out in an interview and said that he hates most new bands because they all dress like they should be in Weezer.
What?
What does
Excuse
that
me?
mean? Most people in Weezer dressed like they were in the 2000s. Okay.
Essentially, his
Because
point.
they all dress normally.
Yeah, but basically, I think what he's done is he's probably looked at like a fucking Lorna Shore video and gone, why have they all got just t-shirts on? None of them have carved a crucifix into their head. How is this band?
I think I can see skin under them tattoos.
Yeah, it's just like, it's like, how are these bands heavier and more popular than me, but they all just look like blokes? It's like
Also, if we're going to look at Lonely Shore versus Deicide, like,
Lorna Shore
There
rip
is.
as well. Like
Yep.
Deicide are just like death,
Deicide are very good at what they do.
which is something.
Yeah. Cheers.
To be fair,
We'll go with generic black, death metal.
I saw Deicide at Rescue Rooms once. There was probably about 50 people in the room.
Yeah.
Just
Once though.
what?
Just the ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was quite into Deicide.
Oh,
at the time.
like Weezer.
Yeah, like,
Just the one song.
I just love that Glenn Bennett name drops Weezer
Specifically Weezer.
like it's
Why
like
would you pick out Weezer of all
Yeah.
bands?
it's like
Pick
Weezer also.
anyone from that era.
What I now want to see is Weezer dressed up as fucking Black Veil Brides.
No,
Every band looks the fucking same, apparently.
I want Weezer to do a Deicide cover
Oh, yes.
Oh, what? You know what? They're up for it. Have you seen those guys playing?
because they did that covers.
No, I know-
like Van Weezer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guys in Weezer are shred. Like, they
Oh,
can
God,
play,
yeah, they're
Yui
incredible.
Wellstein and
I'm-
all sorts.
I'm
They
very
are
Weezer.
insane. Musician-wise, they could do it.
They probably could.
I would love to see it.
I would.
I would-
Right, this is a set. Weezer, we want to see this. Come on, boys.
Come on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all
we
right.
know you're listening.
It's just
Hey,
DM,
if a member of Weezer was listening, I'd be done.
I'd be
mate.
well for it.
just
Yeah.
DM Rivers Cuomo is like, do you fancy doing some blasties, fam? Like,
Fucking yes, man.
right. So thus finishes the news with old man yells at cloud because he wears a polo shirt.
What a place to end the news.
What a way to end. So, back on to more important topics of the Wolves Don't Sleep podcast. Let's talk about Wolves Don't Sleep.
Oh yeah,
It's going to happen at
We're
some
here.
point, I suppose.
So, we have had an insanely busy couple of weeks, as I alluded to.
we have.
So, first of all, we had a bit of a last minute gig in Knots.
We did. We've killed the
Which was
lights.
lovely.
We've killed the lights of members who used to be in Bullet for My Valentine and and still remains, although Jordan wasn't there and I have no idea who the other two bands the people were in. That sounds really bad, but I just
I think the vocalist was from Glamour of the Kill.
no, I thought the other guitar because I thought the guitarist was from
Guitarist,
Glamour of the
wasn't
Kill.
I thought it was the other guitarist.
One of them was from Glamour of the Kill.
As you can tell, we really
do our research.
We do our
Yeah,
Wolves Don't
massive.
Sleep. We are a very well-read band.
But yeah, so we played with them. It was quite sick. I didn't
Yep.
even hear what James said. I was going to do past it.
He said we were a very well read band.
This is why you guys will just giggle to each other in the background.
Well, it's fine, guys. I own a thesaurus.
I'll leave that one there.
But yeah, so that was a pretty sick gig. So like, big up Knots because like bare people came down and we were like on 5 minutes after doors, which was
Same,
Yeah,
like
genuinely.
100 odd
Consider-
people before
considering-
doors, and then like 150 in the room by the time we were playing.
Yeah,
that's
yeah, it was-
insane. Like since
Yeah,
January
no.
For
Wolves, that's
bodega.
probably one of the
for
busiest
a
gigs we've had.
Thursday night, yeah.
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday
It was a
night,
very
Tuesday night.
One of the
Tuesday
Ts,
yeah.
night, yeah.
Yeah, for a random Tuesday night.
midweek at 6:30 in the evening.
Yeah, absolute wild.
At the end of the month as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolute
Brilliant,
scenes.
honestly.
So big up. But anyway, shenanigans were afoot, as just tend to follow us around as a band.
Okay,
That's how we
'Cause-
roll.
I'm scared where you're going with this.
Because I got told off, didn't I?
You did get
what-
told
that's what I
off.
was
You
scared
did get
about.
told
That's what I was
off.
scared about.
You want to tell the story then?
So I mean, it also helps is like if Alex does the other half of the story, so I'll do the setup because having Alex's outside perspective of what was happening.
Okay, all right.
I've got a view on
Get
this
the
as well.
context
Yeah.
and the reality.
So obviously, as a small band, you have to hustle.
Yep.
And most people, if depending on if you've been to Nottingham or not, or if you've been to a gig at the Bodega or not, it is not the biggest venue. And the layout of it doesn't allow for multiple bands to have merch up. It's a bit of a shenanigan. So at the back there was like a raised bit with like a balcony essentially.
Well, we should probably just say it ended up being essentially Kill the Lights, the headline band, taking their spot on merch, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they have a
Headline
lot
band
of
should
merch.
have the big slot, and they're touring, and they should have the biggest merch. Fair enough.
Yeah, they have a lot to showcase. Why not?
The sub-headline band, which we're mates with, ended up taking like the second official
Yeah.
merch table. I think that's just because some of them were there early.
Yeah.
No, because we went for a pint in Pit.
Oh yeah,
And
We could have done it.
we
but
went
then
for a
to the
pipe
pub.
somewhere else.
We opted just to fuck off for a bit.
Yeah.
So we did kind of leave ourselves on the back foot.
But it also makes sense then, like you say.
Yeah, it
it's-
also makes sense.
It's a whatever. So we had to basically hang our shirts over this balcony thing next
Yeah.
to the door. Whatever, we moved. After we finished playing, I was like leaning over this balcony, like shifting shirts to people.
Right,
It
so
was-
so to give it context, and here's what I see. So I see.
no, so that was basically the run up. So then obviously after the show finishes, the room is packed.
Yep.
Kill the Lights go, we're going to be at merch, come say hi and get a photo. Because obviously a lot of people do because people do want to meet Moose and Jay who were in Bullet.
Yep.
Totally fair.
It's an
I
element,
don't
yeah.
think we really spoke to
And
them all.
Kill the Lights have a fair few.
And
fans.
Kill the Lights do have
Yeah,
fans because
Kill the Lights are really good.
it's their headline show. That's who people are there to see. We're just happy to be involved. James is making a face.
Called out. He wasn't going to say anything, but
But yeah, so and we kind of go, and we as a band, because we're small and stuff, like we do a thing where we like to give out free stuff. So it's like whatever CDs we got left, stickers, badges, and stuff.
Yeah.
So I decided to
We'll take the loss for publicity.
we'll take the loss for publicity, and we just want to show that we're trying to really graft to get attention for people. So cue to me being stood over this balcony bit, over the merch queue, going, "Yo, who wants some fucking free stuff?"
And this is not like over the merch queue, like just above them a little bit. This is Steve's being held by his belt, by the back of his belt at this point, being dangled above being dangled above the crowd that's trying to get to see Kill the Lights, handing out CDs, stickers, badges, whatever.
I was stood by the bar on the other side of the venue.
Yeah.
Just chanting calls to my mate, saying goodbye to people. I turned round, just through a gap. I just saw you, like 4 or 5 feet above everyone. Just
Wow,
like
pretty tall for Steve.
what? If you think we've got this balcony bit and then the balustrade, and then he's just over that.
I was stood on a
And
chair.
he was being-
just
he
turn
was
around.
being-
There's still Steve lording it over everyone. Like,
So
in his
hands-
element.
Let's come and buy merchandise, please.
Well, it's not even that. He was just like dishing out CDs to her,
you haven't
whoever
seen
would take
like,
them. Like,
it's Steve being Oprah.
yeah, pretty much. He's like,
You haven't
you
seen
get a
it.
CD.
You get a
You get a
CD.
CD.
You get a badge. So was it like they were? Was it more upset at the fact that you were taking away?
Well,
from
this
them?
is where he got told off.
So
and-
you were pretty much bang on there.
So
right? We'll
I
get
get a
to
tap
that.
on the shoulder by someone, and I look at him and I go, "Hello," and he's like, "You can't do that. Get down." And I just went.
Was it Kill the Lights' manager or their tour manager?
I think it was their tour manager. But at that exact
not a
point
real
where I
manager.
kind of go, he's like, "You need to stop," and I was like, "Okay." But at that exact point, one of the guys I tried to pass a CD to went, "Yo, come here. I want to take a picture with you." So I went, "Aye." So I bounced out. So I've been told to stop, and then 3 seconds later, I'm taking a picture with someone. I'm now in the middle of this crowd talking
After
to
being
people.
basically like lowered down into them,
And-
we like craned him in.
people.
We like craned him in for a picture and then craned him back out.
That's amazing. I love it.
So after that and the crowd dispersed and stuff, I do get to go chat to Kill the Lights, because another thing that we like to do, because we offer bigger bands that we play with if they want to take a shirt or something, because it's more promo for us.
Yep.
Because when we
Okay.
played with Bloody Wood, they actually bought shirts off us, which is fucking big up to
That's-
them.
Yeah,
Oh,
honestly,
I respect
they were
that.
wearing them
It's
for.
like-
Yeah.
Yeah, which then cut to pictures of them in London wearing one of our shirts, which is like
Which is cool as fuck.
absolute
Incredible.
to see.
I mean, they were lovely, lovely,
Absolute-
lovely
yeah,
dudes
absolutely.
as well.
Like as bands we play with, they're like one of the nicest group of people we've ever met.
Yeah,
But yeah, so I went up to him and was like, "Hey, and before I even started the thing, I was like, because I was doing the whole like, "Oh yeah, thanks for having us," you know, the generic, like the general like spiel, just being like, you know, trying to
Being professional.
being professional.
Yeah.
And then the vocalist went, "Yeah, sorry about that, but you were taking away from our merch queue." To which in my head I was like, "But you still sold all your merch and everyone still got through. We were just a bit of a."
See, we weren't like, well, I don't know if you sold anything at that point.
Nope.
But no, so we're not even taking the money
We
off
just
them.
entertainment for the guys in the queue. We kept them in your queue.
Yeah.
Put up and shut up.
It's essentially.
I mean, essentially, to be fair, like,
Sorry, was that?
Nah,
it's blessed, it's blessed.
James, you said that out loud just to be aware.
But no, like, everyone in that queue, like, you've got the people at the front who are wanting to take pictures, wanting to chat to them, wanting to do all these things. So all the people behind them are just standing there waiting.
It's like, there's
What else are
nothing
they going
going on,
to
there's
do? Are
nothing
they
to-
going to then get bored and just because the stairs to leave are just behind them? And then they're just going to walk
I
out of the
honestly
venue?
don't know. See, my first thought that went through my head is that he's calling out because it looks kind of dangerous. Which, to be fair,
Violent.
That argument, fair
dangling
enough.
Steve from
Yeah,
the back
that's
of his
pretty bad.
belt over a crowd of people. I mean, he's not that big.
From a
but
health and
also-
safety standpoint, fair enough.
that I'll take.
Yeah.
But if they turned around and went, "Oh, you were taking away from our merch crowd," it's a bit of a weird thing to try and tell someone.
Yeah,
off
so
for, like,
my
Stop
response.
being so popular.
Bear in mind, at this point, it is my 5'5" ass against all of Kill the Lights.
Yeah.
And we're just stood in a row, and I'm just going, all right, this is gonna go. And I was like,
I mean, Jay's not that much taller.
there's not, no, but it's more like it's me, and then there's just like 5 other people. I'm there going, oh god, this is. I was like, oh god, here we go. And I just went, yeah, no, sorry about making a scene, guys, but we are a small band, we do have to hustle. I was just straight up,
yeah.
what do you want from me?
Them's the breaks.
And then I went, you boys want some t-shirts? I'm like, yeah. I was like, oh, so.
Very differing opinions between the bands and the management of said bands.
Well, this is the thing.
So the manager said get down first, and then you got the vocalist of Kill the Lights like, no, get him down, and we were like, okay, weird, we'll put him down. Like, it was just a whole weird it was like a whole weird thing.
It was.
We got rid of some CDs. We got rid of some T-shirts.
We sold a ton of merch as well.
did, yeah.
So like, and also the thing is, it's one of those things of it was a bit of a super thing to do, and I might have like rubbed them the wrong way a bit. But the people who are in, but the people who are in that queue, when our name comes up again, they'll be like, "Oh, fucking, I remember those fucking dickheads."
Well, that's
like the antics. You don't remember Motley Crue for being nice guys that treated everyone with
Precisely
respect and didn't fuck about and like take a shitload of drugs in the back of the venue. You're gonna remember Wolves.
It's fucking rock and roll, motherfuckers.
Selling out all their merch and stealing the guys from the queue and Kill the Lights. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
Wolves, badasses. That's
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just like we're not going to stand there and just be like, "Oh yeah, thanks for coming." It's like everyone I spoke to was like, "Can I have a picture?" I was like, "Yeah, thanks for coming." They're chatting to absolutely everyone I could because you have to stay in the forefront of people's brains.
Yeah,
it's
You have to
difficult
make an
for us at
impression,
this
yeah.
level. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, anything you can do to get that little nugget in there that the people will then, even if it's like 6 months down the line,
yeah.
something crops up like. Something crops up and goes, oh, wait, I know that name for some reason. Oh, yeah, they were those dickheads.
That's it. Yeah.
And if we could just be remembered as those dickheads, I'm fine with
Yeah,
that.
because it's not as if like I was going out my way and like trying to be in the way. I was just kind of like, while you guys are waiting, do you want some of our free stuff?
You saw an opportunity with a bunch of people just standing there.
Yeah, like
Because Kill Lights can only see so many people at one time.
yeah.
That's how that
Yeah,
works.
absolutely.
All I've learned is maybe
It's going to go for any gig, right? You're there for the entire period. You're there for the time that you play your show, the time that you're setting up for your show, the time after your show selling merch. You're not going to stop grafting for that whole time. You're not going to stop meeting people. You're not going to stop saying hi. You're not going to stop pushing your merch.
You are always there. Yeah.
You're always there. You are working. I'm sorry if that's like interloping into your time as well, but get competing.
Yeah,
or
we all
get
on the
fuck
same
out.
goal here. We're all on the same goal
we're
here,
all
guys.
here
That's
doing
it,
the
that's
same
it.
thing.
yeah.
We're here
Like,
to
they
we're
do the
here
same
to,
in
have some
opposition.
fun. We're not here to like stamp out your thing, but come on.
we're here
Yeah.
to play a show and to inevitably, hopefully, sell some merch which funds us playing more shows.
Exactly.
And funds us making more music.
Yeah.
That
No.
we
That's
hope
Kerry
people
King is
enjoy.
finding out,
Basically.
you know,
Exactly. Precisely
We've got to
that.
keep grinding. If we're not grinding, we're not selling shirts, and then we're going to be back in the transit van, only playing with 4 guitars before we know it.
For that,
That's a big foresight. It's like- I'm glad you reckon we can get as big as Slayer and then split and be.
honestly. But yeah, so that was the entire thing. But it's a similar situation when we played with our Hollow in Red Rooms, where we weren't
that was
allowed
so much
any
fun,
space on the merch table.
Yeah.
So we gaffer taped our shirt to the wall in front of the door.
Yeah.
You make it work.
And started handing out
Improvise,
CDs to
adapt,
everyone coming
overcome.
and going.
That's it.
You know, if you put us in a position where we've got to put of extra work in, unfortunately the results will not be standard because it's the same as when we're still doing stuff and someone goes, we need to do something. Alex will watch me and can physically see the gears in my brain turn. He's like, and I go, hang on, and then I run off and it's like, oh fuck, here we go.
It's always a great moment when Steve goes quiet for a second and goes, I've got an idea, and just goes.
Steve goes quiet is scary.
Yeah. That's it.
Quiet
It's
is
just
fine.
it's
You
just
go
quiet for a little bit.
fine.
I've got an idea, gone, and then he's just doing something.
Yep.
Like, and it usually works out great.
Yeah, usually being the optimum word.
Yeah.
But yeah, so essentially the rule of thumb is if you don't want us to fuck around, give us a merch table.
Yeah, basically. Basically.
Treat people with the same respect you want to be treated with.
Yeah.
Well,
You
that's
don't
the
want
thing.
people to poach from your queue. You want to have your own time to sell merch. Give everyone else the same opportunity. Otherwise, get to fuck.
Yeah, it was one of those. But yeah, I think we managed to patch it when I was chatting to everyone. I mean, it was a bit sucky on the way out. It was like, I want to go say bye to Moose again. And he went, oh, yeah, thanks for coming. I was like, we literally just spoke 3 seconds ago. You know that we played.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was a bit weird.
That was a bit like, but you know, whatever. You talked to
We'll leave it. We'll leave it there.
That's not like, hey, I was just a bit of like, well, that was a bit of a weird conversation.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah.
But it is what it is. But yeah, so that was part 1 of multiple parts of shenanigans.
It was fun.
Following up that week, I get an email
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, we get an email. The band gets an email as. So obviously we have had not very good results with my long-standing beef with the BBC introducing radio shows.
It may be mentioned once or twice on the podcast.
But obviously there is now a specific rock one, which goes straight on after Daniel P. Carter's rock show, which is sick. Yep. And a few of our mates have been played on that rock show, which is really good, like Blighttown and stuff. So I thought, screw it, House of Glass is out. Let's pitch House of Glass to Radio 1. And I'm going, we're not going to get it. It's not going to happen.
There's
because,
been no reply
it's not going to
before.
happen ever, ever, ever. And then it's like, hi, Wilson Sleep, you're going to get played on Radio 1.
What the
Hello.
We're like, oh, okay.
My God, that's actually happening. Yeah.
So it
What
turns
actually
out
happened?
that we're not.
Grabbing up?
We're actually not that shit anymore that we can get played on BBC Radio 1.
What changed? What's the difference, James?
We'll come to that.
Radio 1 standards have clearly dropped.
So that was really cool. So we got played on the BBC Introducing Rock show. And it was genuinely really cool having
Radio 1 as well.
Yeah, it's Radio 1.
Getting that little radio
taking
jingle
three,
before.
you know.
our song comes
Honestly,
on,
like in this country, you can't get a bigger radio station than Radio 1. That is the top.
Yeah, because
for any music.
like one of my mates I used to work with who now moved to Australia a couple of years ago, and he does he's got like the most most cashy down job. He moves furniture for a living.
Yeah.
Proper
living the dream.
Yeah, proper high vis job that is.
yeah.
I first get that danger money.
Yeah, you get paid, mate. Called Councilman today.
Cash in head.
The best thing is, we always used to talk about Big Les as well, so it's like it's properly just like, I'm gonna go to Australia. Are you gonna get like a proper job, mate? Yeah, I'm gonna go full Georgia or something. But yeah, like he saw my Instagram story and he was like, "Yo, Radio 1!" Like that is essentially the thing. It's like, all right, we've been on Radio 1 now. Like it's like, all right, we're good enough. Like, I think that mainly was like, it's the fact that it's just like, oh, we are actually at this level now. We're like, okay, our songwriting stuff is good enough to be like,
Okay. I had the same thing. One of the D&D groups that I'm in like once a month.
Yeah.
Like one of the guys in there doesn't listen to any like metal at all. Just saw that advert. I was like, oh, what, really? That's brilliant. That's incredible.
That's exactly the response we want. That's really awesome to hear.
It's cool,
smile
man.
on my face.
Yeah.
That's essentially it. So that was wild.
Yeah. That's insane.
And that was only Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then obviously me and Alex have been putting plans together for extra marketing and stuff that we could be doing. And we emailed this guy on YouTube called Orion Reacts? Orion Reacts. Oh my God, I'm not very good with words, am I?
The next implementation of Steve Speaks.
Join us again on Steve mispronounces things.
I've got a thesaurus, but I don't know how to say words.
So I think you didn't go to university for it.
Yeah, because I didn't go to university. I've got a degree in music tech, for Christ's sake.
But not in using a thesaurus.
But yeah, Orion Reacts, who's
Orion Reacts,
Canadian YouTuber, Twitch streamer.
And he's got like
Absolute
200,000 goddamn subscribers and this and that. So I basically sent him an email. And I was like, "Yo, here's our new song. It would be like, I don't know how to get featured on your channel, but here's our song. Let's go." It turns out the guy's big enough that he has a manager to vet music.
Yeah, which is fair enough because I think that it means that his whole thing is reacting to music.
That's the thing.
And he wants it to be an original first time reaction.
Yeah, like it's the same as like when a song drops and we whack it in our Discord and then we're like, right, can we have picture responses from everyone when you listen to it? It's stuff like that. Because if you already listen to the song, you know what's coming, so you don't get an actual response. So that was really cool. Yeah. And then we got an email back and I was like, Alex, because we were keeping the secret from the entire band. It was just me and Alex doing
News
this.
to us, yeah.
And I was like, Alex, the manager's come back and says that we're actually good enough to get on this channel as well now.
We went, hold it, what?
But all this was put in motion before the Radio 1 thing. So we were like, all right, cool. So and it was like, all right, so we got all that sorted. We had no idea when it was coming out. And then
just goes on to his list of things to do.
Yeah.
A list of things to react to.
And it was like, it will come out as soon as possible, unless a bigger band drops a song, because he then has to do that first to keep the view.
Which is fair enough.
Like you have to get, you have to strangle that out.
Like the new Knock Loose drops, of course he's going to react to that first, because that's what people want to see him react to.
You've got to get like the big boy hits. But yeah, so we had no idea when this was being done, other than it was happening. We're like, "Aight, cool, this is nice." And then one day I just got a ping on my phone, and it was like, you've been tagged. And I was like, oh, God, here we go. And then my phone just started blowing the fuck up. Like, for those of you who don't know how Instagram works, if you have a business/creator account on Instagram, you get achievements.
Oh, yeah.
I have my own achievables.
Yeah, it's great.
It's wild, man.
Crazy.
I got one on my personal yesterday because it turns out I've uploaded 1,000 posts.
I've got 2 achievements on mine. I think mine's like, I think it's like 50 views or something or 50 accounts reached or something like that.
Yeah.
And like 100. I can't remember what it is.
It goes up from like small numbers, like you got 50 views on a story, then it's like 100.
No, I think it's like 50 stories.
100,000.
Yeah,
10,000.
50 stories posted.
It stacks and stuff like that.
Your first 1,000 views on a reel or something like that.
We got one within an hour for 5,000 plays.
God.
It was literally because we got tagged as a collaborator, which means it went onto our page as well, and it just popped the fuck off. It was and from like it is wild.
Yeah.
So we get some metrics and stuff. So from the release of House of Glass, we do have a PR campaign that is still ongoing because your boy's going to be on the radio on like 6 different radio stations on Monday.
Steve's got a press day.
Radio-friendly Steve.
Radio-friendly Steve.
If you want the non-radio friendly Steve, listen to this podcast.
So yeah, I do have PR training tomorrow afternoon with the same bloke who does Rishi Sunak stuff. So
that is the wrong PR, my friend.
no, it's great PR. I don't know how to answer a question. I just talk around the topic for a bit, then they get bored and move on. It's perfect.
Okay, fair enough.
That's the second bit. Just to clarify, we do
Let's keep this politically light.
that's the second one now. Connor's edging in. It's gonna go.
Connor's dying to start going in on some politics.
I'm not doing it.
I'm not letting it.
But yeah, no.
Alex will kill me.
I will cut it out.
Jokes aside, but yeah. So we get some metrics. So since the release of House of Glass, our increase on our monthly listens on Spotify has increased by 500%.
I know.
And it's just stuff like that. So like genuinely,
insane.
it has been, we've gone from like having 50 monthly listens just for the past couple of years. And then it's just jumped. And we're like, all right, cool. This is genuinely really
It's like
sick.
nearly 600 monthly listeners.
Yeah,
It's
like-
It's almost scary, like thinking
Yeah.
about it, looking at that number, and I'm like, oh gosh.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
people actually listen to this shit.
Yeah.
It
Paying
means
attention?
so
Oh,
the,
no.
the monthly listeners thing means that there are that many people that have returned to listen to House of Glass more than once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It's
the
not
thing.
Just, it's
like-
not just your first listen. It's you've come back and you've gone again.
and as they should, it's an absolute
think-
banger.
Yep.
Like the whole
I
EP.
thought I was the only one with this one on repeat, honestly.
But yeah, so that was really cool. So, and this was in the run up to the Friday just gone because this has been recorded on Sunday, May the 5th. It's a bank holiday. Get the cans in, boys.
Sunday Revenge of the 5th.
God damn it.
Somebody show
Damn
him
Star
that.
Wars.
We didn't do this yesterday. It would have been worse yesterday.
It would have been worse. But yeah, so on the May 3rd, 2024, our EP Fears and Fractures was released.
Yep.
Which
it
is-
was, yes, it
Yes,
is out
was.
now.
It is
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
The EP is out, and quite frankly,
So
it bangs.
if you haven't listened to it, stop listening to this podcast right now. Go and listen
No,
to
listen
it and
to
then
the
come
end
back.
of this podcast and then get to that. I'd prefer it that way around because I'm speaking right now.
All right, mate. Bloody hell.
Yes, Mr. Man that does the editing as well. It's fine.
But yeah, so it has been really cool.
But yeah, please go listen to it
Yeah,
because
it's-
we are. I think I'm right in saying we are all pretty proud of these songs that have gone into.
Yeah, I mean, I
So
listened.
happy with them.
I listened to the podcast on the way to work on Friday. I was just like, this bangs.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, I've had a tough time in the past listening back to our music. I don't like listening to myself playing. I don't at all.
I think most of us don't.
Yeah,
it's,
no, I
it's a
think
weird
it's one of those
concept,
things.
isn't it?
Like, it's a
Yeah.
hard thing to do. I think, particularly vocally, it must be as well. That's the thing. Well, it's one of my favorite things with recording was just sitting there watching you and Dan playing, doing the guitar and bass, just being able to sit there and watch you do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love. It's a fantastic process. I cannot listen back to the drums. However, this is the first time with this EP. I'll happily listen to it.
I'm the same.
On repeat.
I'm the
Yeah.
same.
I
Honestly, man.
fucking
I
love
put
these
it on.
tracks.
I walked to the shop the other day and I put it on in my headphones.
That's it.
I was like,
Yeah.
I just want to listen to.
I
these
keep
songs.
randomly catching myself singing parts of different songs.
Yeah,
And,
especially for me, like the fact that it's my voice.
digga digga digga.
That's enough of that. Thank you.
Thank you. On the way over here, it. I was driving over here to do this pod, and listening to the EP again, and I was super excited by just the whole thing. To be honest, I cannot listen to myself. If I record at home, you guys working with me, you'll know I just delete projects so
Instantly.
often.
Oh yeah,
Because
I
can't stand
I've
my
watched
own
you do that
playing.
all the time.
Yeah.
And I
I'll
tell,
write an
I've watched you play really cool shit and then get rid of it.
It's like,
I tell you off for it all the time.
I get so many slaps on the wrist.
I'm like, keep your fucking work, man. It's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, having listened to that EP back, and I'm just having such a good time with it. And
Yeah.
in my head, I'm just really excited to play this live and get out there and do it.
This is the thing.
Like,
Like,
the energy that
we've
you
played a
get from
version of
that.
Shame Live before. We've started playing House of Glass Live.
Oh,
now.
just wait.
So
You
when
just wait for
the next
full
few
thing.
shows, when everything drops,
So we've got all the automation in there, everything's set.
It's
the
gonna
live
be
show,
so
everything is
good.
Just, I hope you're ready.
Yeah.
Oh,
me,
you're
me
not
too.
ready.
That's a big guys,
You're not
I hope
ready.
you're ready.
But yeah, so it's generally, it's the first time I've been like 100% happy with something. Like genuinely, it's been a lot easier for me to talk about and push the EP because I'm just like, the other stuff, previously the songs were good, but it didn't really feel like, it felt like something was
always
missing.
felt there was something in the background
Yeah.
that was going on that was different, and it wasn't.
But-
It never quite hit the same.
But this is literally just like, I fucking love this EP.
Yeah.
If it hadn't, even if it was written by a band that wasn't us, I would still love this EP.
Yeah,
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 same.
yeah.
Because it's genuinely some good goddamn metalcore. Like,
Yeah, basically, yeah. That's what it boils down
that's
to.
essentially it. But yeah, so the whole point of this podcast today is we are going to sit and fucking chat about the EP.
Okay.
This is the this
James.
is-
And we've started, so
this is the EP special. So I did do a little bit of a small one on the Tactics explaining a rough track by track breakdown of what each song is about. And there are a couple of interviews and stuff that are going out into the world of going a bit more in depth and stuff. But this is going to be the most goddamn in depth you will ever get about these songs.
you're going to be so bored of listening to us talking about them.
But
But then you'll listen to them and fall in love with them again. So that's all that matters.
So we'll see how we'll see how long it takes us to get through. We may try and keep things moving, keep things rolling, so it's not all.
oh yeah. Like,
Yeah,
we're not going to like absolutely take like go in like a fucking degree level MBA fucking dissection of everything.
Oh,
You
I'll
guys
put away
aren't
the
getting an
thesaurus.
essay.
Yeah, put away the thesaurus, Connor. But yeah, so a bit of background. So we started recording this over a year ago. It took us a while to get the EP done and recorded for a few things in the background because James had to have part of his body removed.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah,
That was a long time ago as well.
It feels like in fucking ages ago, honestly. But I think that was about a 4-month-ish
Yeah.
It was-
waiting period
yeah.
between us writing and actually being able to.
Well, no. So
record.
we did your guitar. I remember us deciding to do your guitars before you went in for that.
It was quite-
because you
yeah.
would have been out of action for the
So long and
So-
not
so
able to
for
do anything.
a
context,
few months after or whatever.
Yeah, I had to have a kidney removed, and I was in for surgery on the Saturday, and I think we recorded like the guitars over that Wednesday and Thursday, if I was right. It was like midday.
Yeah,
Something like that. It
Yeah.
was
It
like
was within
really.
a week of surgery.
Oh, yeah.
And I was feeling terrible, so it was just smashed through the guitars as fast as we could do. Had the surgery, and then there was quite a pause as we kind of figured out how that was going to look, and
Well,
then get
it's-
back in there.
For an additional timeline, it was also like November-ish in the run-up to Christmas. So not only do we have to factor in our guitarist is in hospital high as absolute bollocks on
It was a good time.
we also had the fact that some of our jobs were affected by the Christmas period,
Yeah.
which made us trying to work around nights and weekends, trying to get time to go into the studio to get stuff done.
Tricky as hell when half of us work in retail.
Yeah.
We,
So-
we essentially
yeah.
opted to do it sort of like in our own time,
Yeah.
hence why it took a while.
yeah.
It was like evenings and weekends working. Everyone was doing 9-5s roughly, and then working outside of those hours and
Yeah.
trying to not be burnt out to then go and record drums, for example. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a really hard time to schedule.
So yeah, so it was a difficult one. That's why it took a bit longer than it should have done. But hey ho, you know, it is what it is. We're not going to be one of those bands where we're going to set ourselves like we do set ourselves deadlines, but it's a running joke that I make that the band is cursed because things that go wrong are so wild. Because once again, James had to have a kidney removed.
Like
That's not like
yeah.
Or then
You
it's
can't
like-
make that
or
up.
then, like,
Like, that's just one of the.
Connor's job lost like 2 staff, so Connor was covering 1 million goddamn hours.
Yeah.
And then like other stuff like stuff that is so catastrophically out of our control that there's nothing we can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
And also, like, our producer Ben, much love. His
Absolute sweetheart, honestly.
Yeah.
Ben Gaines, his stuff is the Audio Mage, and he also works for the God Hand Initiative. And essentially, he would also then moving house.
Yeah.
Is it the God Hand Collective?
Is he still with God Hand?
It's a thing. I don't something.
It was the God Hand Initiative,
Yeah,
but I didn't know if he was still part of
I
that
have
whole
no
thing.
Okay, those are two things that exist. You can find him on the internet. His Instagram handle is the Audio Mage.
The Audio Mage is the
Ben,
big
Ben Gaines, the Audio Mage.
Yeah.
Right, what a producer.
absolute phenomenal producer.
Maslab,
lovely,
ADHD,
lovely dude.
nerd, loves Dark Souls, and also is a mad
He was
session
like the
musician.
perfect fit for us.
Oh god, yeah, no, it's the same level of crazy. You know?
Yeah.
yeah.
Just like the right amount of weeb.
Yeah.
Metal.
Sorry, one of his
Honestly.
distortion plugins straight up had a naked anime girl on it.
Hey, like, he's my kind of guy.
Oh yeah, I fucking loved it.
Exactly.
Like, I was like, all right, this is where we're at.
It was pretty good. It was a pretty cool plugin as well. to be
Yeah,
honest.
it was a really good distortion
I'm pretty
plugin.
sure that one made the record as
I
well.
think it did.
Absolutely
Yeah.
It
did.
was on my
Absolutely
vocals.
did, Yeah.
Ooh, woo, bitches. But yeah, so he also then moved house.
Yeah.
And it's just like, so once it, these are,
Moved house, had a bike robbed.
yeah, had a
twice.
mic, had
Yeah.
a bike
Oh, yeah.
robbed,
I
and
forgot
it was
about that,
like,
right?
Stolen.
like,
the guy had a rough one.
it was 100% just like anything that could have possibly slowed us down a bit just kept happening.
Yeah.
But the thing is with us is we just keep going. Like, because it was like,
That's the
okay,
perseverance.
once the EP's done, the EP's done. That's it. Like, it doesn't matter because we've been so long since we released anything anyway. There isn't really a time frame. But when it's done, then we can get the graft on, which you can see is what's happening now. Is we dropped House of Glass, and then local promoters, Mangata, then went, yo, do you want to do main support for Seethan Akira for an all day? And we went,
Hell
all right.
yeah.
So
What an opportunity that
And
is,
it's like,
honestly.
Have we announced that
I'm
yet?
excited.
Or?
Yeah.
That's announced today.
yeah, it's announced.
Yeah,
Okay, it's on
the post,
I
the,
missed
post,
that one.
the post has gone out and everything like that. So yeah,
I missed that one. That's good. That's fine. Okay.
Yeah, and the band on before is Echelon. The guitarist is the guy who runs TechFest.
Oh, sick. I love that.
Yeah, so and
Or
there's-
whatever
And
Tech Fest has
Connor's
now
face just
become.
lit up.
Oh, I fucking love Tech Fest.
I'm so good I never got to go. I really want
Game,
to
to be honest.
go. To be fair, I mainly wanted
incredible.
I couldn't get it off work, but I mainly wanted to go to the last one just because Kublai were playing.
Yeah.
Like I just
Yeah.
wanted to go and just
That
absolutely
looked
hammer.
wild as
Just
well.
But yeah, so there's that backing. But yeah, so that was the setup. We recorded in Ben's studio in Derby above the Hairy Dog. Shout out the Hairy Dog. Solid venue, solid staff, great fucking people. So yeah, that was the setup. It took us a while to get everything done. But yeah, so let's do like little track by track breakdown, little secrets and stuff, and random little bits of information and stuff as we go.
Okay. Should we do it in order? So
Yeah.
start with House of Glass.
Yeah, so House of Glass is... It wasn't the first song written for the EP, was
I
it?
feel like House of Glass realistically was like the last song to be written end to end.
No, yeah, possibly. I
It
think
took
so.
a while for that to come across.
Yeah.
I should point out that James, the man that you're listening to, has done like 80% of the work on this
Yeah.
EP.
Oh,
Like,
this is true. This
He
is true.
put an absolute graft in making this EP as good as it is.
And yeah.
So
Gets really bashful about it.
you
but,
might hear a
like,
lot. You might hear a lot from James, but he is well spoken. So like
I appreciate
sometimes, sometimes words do not exist in his mouth.
But yeah, so it wasn't the last one. I think it was the last of the original four, because we initially were going in to do a 4-track.
Yeah.
And then Bossman went, no, make it 5. And we went, oh,
No, it's because
that.
he
I
saw.
know you can do it. I know you've got another one.
No, it's because he saw the running length for the EP and went, maybe do 5.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's more like it.
Making
That's
15
fair.
minutes. I don't think this is even like ad break material.
But yeah, so that's basically that. So House of Glass was, when it was done, we basically went, this is probably the most quote unquote generic entry level metalcore song.
It's the most. I keep saying it's the most tangible.
Yeah.
Of the EP.
Yeah, if you
yeah.
look at like late 2000s metalcore, it's like the most kind of in line with that is.
Yeah, it so fits that
you can
mold
pick
for
each
it.
of the sections. You've got your intro kind of like gloomy, like clean section where it's really eerie, and then you've got your heavy, just face pounding section. It breaks out again and kind of goes
exactly.
And there's nothing
it's
too
very generic kind of.
And there's nothing too
Very
like
hardcore.
wild or
Yeah.
like.
There's nothing crazy in there.
There's
Nothing
no
crazy
other like
about it.
transfers
Not-
to another genre partway through the song.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the
Yeah.
tracks.
You could put it on in front of your parents and have to pause it and explain what just happened with a certain part of the song. You go, don't worry.
Yeah, so it's the most tangible one. So
So I want to ask James, have you got any influences in mind when you wrote this song? What were you listening to at the time? Let's say.
This one in particular was mostly actually listening back to Wolves Don't Sleep. It sounds crazy,
okay, yeah.
Having joined the band, and then I think given the target of, okay, right, this is kind of like testing the waters a little bit, and with it being towards the end of writing a lot of the riffs that I wanted to write, this was like, okay, right, write something for Wolves. And I kind of just learned a lot of the Clarity EP. I learned half of the Wolves EP, the Monster EP, and kind of just started gluing ideas together. And that really turned into House of Glass.
But I do remember the intro riff, the clean riff, you noodled away in a practice space when we were practicing for a live show.
I think I
And
was...
someone said, do that.
Yeah.
I think I was playing around with... It was like, oh, play me some metalcore. So, okay, of course. First thing in my head, My Curse by Killswitch Engage, right? Jump to that kind of like riff.
Everyone-
The archetype,
with
yeah.
that. And I think, again, I can't remember who it was, but I think somebody had mentioned Rise to Remain, and I was like, I know another riff from them as well. And I started kind of mixing the two. And that was a lot of what I did at the time, is a case of I'll take these ideas from other bands and half bake them into something else, and they'll slowly evolve over time.
I mean, everyone's done a My Curse riff off in their musical
yeah.
career.
Yeah.
In their
Oh,
metalcore
absolutely.
career. I know, I've done one.
I think there's like one note from My Curse in there, but just like, yeah.
Yeah, it's the archetypal metalcore song for a reason.
Yeah,
Like,
it's clean intro into chuggy guitars
Yeah.
with...
it sets the benchmark.
But
Yeah.
it was like,
Yeah.
I think very much with House of Glass in particular, it was very much the intro came first and the rest of it just kind of happened.
Yep.
I think we wrote the intro in the space of like a couple of hours because it was just taking the ideas, okay, what influences do we want? And then when it came to writing the rest of the song, that all
Just
fell into place
flowed.
within about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I think I was just like,
The
right,
best-
full send. Here's
Yeah.
what I do.
The best
And just
the
rhythm
best
guitar
the best
on top.
songs do though. Like the best songs come together in 10, 15 minutes. If you can
I hate it, but I do, because a lot of I look back at those 10 or 15 minutes and go, what did I do there that I can't do in a 7-hour
Yeah,
period
yeah.
sat on my own?
But that's it, it's
Writing?
all
But
that build-up,
this
but all that,
15
like-
minutes is gold.
Yeah, it's all that building together, all the different influences and stuff. Shit, mind the light.
but that's all but that happens a lot. I remember seeing an interview with, it might not it's possibly not that much along the same lines, but dance producer Fatboy Slim,
Okay.
he's said that he's got one album where like most of his biggest tracks were on, you know, certain songs. I can't remember some of the song names, but they're very, very big tunes of his. And he said, looking back at some of the archives, like obviously he made these and he stored these on like floppy disk as the Pro Tools or like Cubase project or whatever.
Right.
For those of you from the Gen Z generation, who are listening to this,
There
a
we go.
floppy disk is a small plastic. You know the save icon on your computer? Is that
Yeah.
But yeah, so he looking back at these, and he would date when he finished these projects. He'd write the date down, and they were all within like a couple of weeks of each other. It was a
That's
small
insane. So
period
all
of
the
time.
hits were in, like,
That
such
little
a small
bit of
period
inspiration
time
just
where it
hits.
you just have fun.
So yeah,
I
so
feel like it kind of
don't.
comes naturally, right?
So for
that's it.
any musicians listening, don't ever feel bad about writing a song in 5 minutes and thinking that it has to take you hours. It doesn't.
Hey, look, the amount of riffs that
Prime
ended up on
example,
this EP,
Paranoid.
You can write. You can write
Like
a
Sabbath
song.
with Paranoid, we've got 2 minutes left on this album we need to fill.
Yeah.
What do we do?
Yeah, you can
this.
write a song in the amount of time it
One of the
takes to
biggest metal
play
songs
it.
in the world.
Like that's how quickly you can write a song.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly.
If you know around with something that sounds good, it sounds good.
and
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it.
And like a constant thing that you see as I talk about like the lyrics and stuff is I just use a notes app on my phone, and essentially I just knock out like anytime I've got an idea. Like I could be in the shop, I could be at work, I could be like driving. Obviously, I don't do this while driving, but I have actually done like voice recorded notes while driving. If
Oh, I've done similar.
yeah,
voice back and forward.
yeah. So it's but then so basically I come up with like ideas for lyrics and like concepts, but then it's not until like I physically have a song in front of me where I go, I'm getting this vibe.
Yeah.
And basically the way that House of Glass came about is I just like there was like such a start off aggression. I was just like, right, this is going to be like a statement of intent, and that's how it became the first track on the EP as well. Is the lyrics are essentially about everything that we've experienced as musicians and stuff in the scene from when we started playing to 15 to now, and either it's like it's not always just stuff that we've experienced. It can be stuff that we've heard about from mates in other bands.
Yep.
You know, like all like stuff you just see like on the internet. It's like all really weird stuff that's happened, and just like if there's like infighting or drama or just like people not liking each other.
Observations of the current scene around us.
Yeah.
Not necessarily our experiences, but what we've observed and what we've noticed within our band and within other bands around us that we're working with as well.
Yeah. And people generally in the more local music industry rather than it's because we don't have any experience in the larger music industry.
No.
This is where our experience comes from. So it's just a general observation and a bit of a
like it's not as if it's like aimed at anyone, which I made a very point on the video I did on TikTok as well. It's like there isn't like a particular thing we can go, oh, does Steve really not like this person? It's like it's not aimed at anyone in particular. It's a culmination of shared experience. It's essentially an anthology of short stories of stuff that has just
someone's
happened.
got his thesaurus out again.
Steve entering his Tolkien era.
I got an A in English Lit at GCSE. Fight me.
Should review EPs.
No, I did, and I got told off, so I stopped. But yeah, so that's essentially it. And like the reason why we settled on House of Glass is because the music scene in itself is a house of glass.
Yeah.
Because everyone can see everything that happens on. And it's from that phrase, those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
It's literally a lyric.
Which is literally a lyric. I can't
it's the opening lyric.
I cannot make it any clearer as to the concept of just like, you see it sometimes on the internet where people, like even like massive bands, where people will say something and then absolutely fuck themselves.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Don't put it in writing if you don't mean it. All right,
Yeah.
That's it.
Or if you don't back it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's essentially it. So, but there's nothing particularly like I said. It's a relatively generic song. We do chuck like this is when the electronic stuff starts to come in and like the background and stuff. Is that something that we slowly start moving into?
Like that's something quite interesting because that's something that Wolves haven't really done before.
No, this is very new.
It's actually the reason why I'm actually in the band. Like,
that's it.
For a bit of back context, I've been rolling with these guys for years.
Yeah,
like I've basically been like
the production side of Clarity. You were heavily involved with that.
I helped them like engineer like the pre-pro for their previous EP. And like I've just been in and around these guys' lives, and like we've basically been one tight unit for like 5 or 6 years at this point.
Yeah. So
I made the in joke at this point where James is actually member number 6, skipping out number 5 because I was the secret 5th member.
That's it.
Painfully accurate.
But basically, we started doing this, and Ben, our producer, went, "You guys should like play this live. It will be something different."
I think it's when he looked at you and said, "Are you in the band then?"
I was. I think pretty sure I was at every studio session, even before
I think you were more of them than me. I was in hospital for half of it.
I think you were there one of the ones most consistently.
Yeah. So when we started bringing this in, and when we went, oh, we can start leaning into actually playing this live. That's when we went, we should actually lean into.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of shared moment of like, oh, we can actually do that.
Wait,
we
have
we have
could
like
use one of them.
Yeah. And it wasn't even. I don't think it was much of a decision process.
Yeah,
Ben just went, "You should play this live," and I went, "Okay, boys, am I in your band now?" Then you went, "Yeah."
It's on the EP now, so somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's also a bit more of it, instead of relying very heavily on having all the electronics just on a backing track.
That's the thing. I mean, like to go into that slightly more of like this. The reason we've not gone to this kind of stuff earlier. That's always been one of our golden rules. If for whatever reason that stuff breaks, we still need to be able to play the show.
Yeah.
You know, that's the golden rule. End of the day, we need to be able to do it.
Because
That's always been the core thing. Is like you still got the drummer super tight, the guitarist and the vocalist, everyone's super tight, and then it's like the electronics is just like another layer on top of that.
Having Alex there physically triggering stuff is far easier than having it on a backing which could just fuck up.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, we actually have the man here playing the thing that's going to do it.
That keyboard,
exactly.
Just making that happen, and it just
made sense at the time.
Yeah.
That's why I said there was pretty much zero decision process. I just went, I'm in the band now, boys, and you went, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I think
sure, Sam.
we'd already basically agreed it.
It's what we've always said. It's just like the main thing about being in a band with a group of people is you have to be able to get on with each other very well.
Oh, God, yeah.
Because you spend
Ability is second to...
You spend
Just
so
fine.
much
and that's the other reason why
Yeah.
there's pretty much no decision is that like I've been hanging with you guys for years. You guys like know me, like we've been rolling together.
You've
Like,
been
I've
crew, you've been tour merch, you've been driver.
Yeah, like I've been toured with you guys. Like
Yeah.
it was like a whole thing. So it pretty much just made sense.
Yeah, and it's just like, which is also as we discussed previously, it's like, and this, I know this is actually really funny. It's like when I was in Horn last night, I ended up like striking a conversation with some students in the smoking area. You know, you just get into conversation.
Oh, yeah,
So they went, "Oh, can we sit with you?" Because it was just me at a table on my own.
Fair enough.
And I was like, "Yeah." And then we just got chatting. And there's one bloke was just like, I'm doing a business degree, but I also kind of want to get into like music and stuff because my dad knows loads of people. I went, "You can still do your degree, but you can do stuff on the side." That's what I used to do when I was a sound engineer. And he went, "Oh, I never thought about that." It's like, you don't have to just stick
One
to
or the other.
things.
Yeah,
It's-
absolutely.
It's not binary. You
Yeah.
can mix your drinks. Like
That's half.
Yeah.
That's half of what
Working event,
university
playing
is
night.
for, isn't it?
Yeah.
You do your degree, but you make connections and you meet people and you do things on the side.
Yeah, so like if your dad's, because I was with him, if your dad's got mates in the scene that you want to work in, you can still stick and get your degree doing this, but you can spend your weekends and stuff also doing other stuff and get your way in because that's a good way in anyway.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what happened to you. And also
Yeah.
with James, because you knew James. James started hanging out with us and went, James rips, didn't he? Yeah. Do you want to join the band?
it's kind of like a casual question, but it's like it's kind of coming back to your point. It's like you always kind of want to have that fallback. Like if there's anything else you want to like fall back on, you have like your education or whatever up front, but you do the music because you love it and you want to like spend your evenings and you are just
exactly.
willing to grab.
I got a degree in music tech because I enjoyed it and I wanted to learn. My job has fuck all to do with that.
That's it. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
an
it,
engineer,
like-
but I studied music for like overall 4.5 years, like straight, and then like it was really really interesting. But I'm working, and then the band is alongside that, and that is so much more fun. Like
Yeah.
the music is the outlet for it.
Yeah,
That's
'cause it's as much as we'd love this to be like a full time job, but I'd also do other things on the internet because like I always talk about I want to have a clothing line and stuff like that. It's separate things. Fucking oh, we can make a skate company as well.
You know, I'm all for
Yeah,
it.
let's just make a skate company. I just want to have like metalcore skate decks.
Let's get
Yeah, all right, there we go. Yeah,
Actually, that'd be
Got
sick.
graphics on the book.
yeah.
Don't get me started.
You heard it here first, guys.
After the
for another
podcast,
day.
after the podcast, let me show you something. Let me show you a guy called Chris Haslam, and then you'll understand.
Alright.
All
All right, but yeah, so that's essentially it. So that is House of Glass. I've run out my drink as well. It's like this is genuinely
It's
bad.
quite sad.
Um,
Might need next door and grab a couple more for you.
yeah, you might. Well, my keys are there. I mean, if you're gonna, we may as well. If we still need you to talk about guitars and stuff,
We do.
so
I'm
we
still here.
we might have to pause it unless you go wireless. But yes,
Not with our wireless gear, because once again, this band is cursed.
this band is good.
Don't trust wireless. It's not safe.
But yeah, so that's House of Glass. So it's essentially we're in a scene, but my god, is it difficult and it's full of some weird people. Right, track 2, Oblivion.
I think hands down my favorite. Right.
It's yeah.
It is.
I can't
Is
hide
my
it.
favorite as well.
It's,
Honestly,
it's a tough one for me.
It's up there with a pall of fear for me.
Okay.
So Oblivion was initially a riff that Broadley wrote.
I think this was the only one that wasn't like me doing guitars front to back. I think this one took
this one was.
Dan's idea.
It was Dan's idea that you tore apart.
I really
And-
dissected it and put
Yeah.
it back together
Yeah,
again.
the-
And
The demo version of Oblivion that we took to the studio, Ben went, "This is not good enough.
Yeah.
Do better." So
even that, like necessary thing of that is just there wasn't enough in there. It was
Yeah.
like you'd heard
Yeah.
the whole song in 1 minute.
Yeah.
And it was like
And it's just
three
repetitions
and a
of
bit
that,
minutes.
essentially,
Come on,
yeah.
let's-
Yeah,
let's
so
do something a bit more.
the entire song got ripped apart and rewritten.
We need a kind of a left turn here. What could we do?
So
Very much like written in the studio. That one.
Well, so
That whole,
but
yeah, we'll
not
get to
even-
that section.
But not even like the main instrumentation for it as well. We kind of you took your lyrics to it and we kind of read through them and like possibly started recording some, and we kind of basically
It just wasn't going. It just wasn't
These
working.
just don't fit the song. They don't work.
Yeah,
wasn't working.
I tore them all apart and rewrote all of the lyrics in about 15 minutes.
So
sat
it
in
was
the
definitely
booth.
the song for rewriting, essentially.
Yeah,
on the fly.
that song as it is now is basically a child of being in that room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like a testament to what we can do is like actually being sat in the studio bouncing those ideas around as well. Because beforehand it was like such an abrasive idea. It didn't really gel with the vocals. The guitars didn't gel with the
Yeah.
drums.
Yeah,
the guitars
absolutely.
didn't
Yeah,
gel with
it's
the
the one I
guitars.
think
Me
we're
and
all
Dan
sort of
weren't
looking
kind of,
forward
like,
to
doing-
least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
do it.
And I think we kind of took it in as a. It's kind
Well,
of
because
half
it's
done.
one of those of like probably really wanted that riff.
Yeah,
He
you did.
probably really wanted that
I
song.
feel
in
like
there.
that was like an opinion piece where it's like one person in the band was like, I really, really like this one. Let's work on this. And then that was less of the vibe throughout. So it was kind of like I said, just a bit more abrasive, but
Yeah.
taking that into the studio and having almost like a separate voice from the band, kind of like overseeing it and saying, okay, here's where we're at.
By
with
far and
this
away, the
song.
best thing about working with the producer, having that extra pair of ears,
Yeah, absolutely.
just to come in and be like,
Outside
okay,
the circle, right?
but what about this?
Yeah. If
Yeah.
if the original version of Oblivion had made it to the
I've heard this
record,
band from South Korea. that-
it would not have worked very well. Oh yeah, because we
It's
referenced
such
like
a different song. It was much more like it was closer to like punk music
Yeah.
when we first
Yeah.
started. It was very kind of like bouncy, very mellow, and then
yeah.
well, it is what
Yeah,
it
and
is.
then Ben just went, "Hey, have you heard of this Japanese band called Jaluka?"
Well, we have now.
So that was a song that basically I like James said, it is really cool the fact that we went, oh, we can write an entire song when we've got like gun to our heads, we're paying for the studio time, we need this song done. And
Yeah,
we just-
yeah, that crunch period.
Yeah.
was
Like-
brilliant.
Like that, it very much felt like that. It was very much you've got a gun to your head. You've got a limited time. Let's get this done.
Yeah.
But now we've kind of got the idea and we've kind of teased it a little bit. I feel like we could really.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no,
We
no, no.
could
We can
really
really
build
go
that
into
up.
that.
So-
We can really go into that.
We kind of struggled a little bit there, and I'm excited for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So obviously, the last part of the song takes an absolute fucking left turn
Yeah.
into
It
oncoming
takes a
traffic.
180, bro.
If you've not heard it, pause now. Go listen to it. Come
Just for
back,
the context,
and
you
then
need
you'll-
this
you'll
bit.
get
Yeah.
it.
Because
So this song ends with a heavily, I would say, blackened influence.
Blackened.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
yeah,
black metal influence,
heavily.
raining from like bands like Shadow of Intent and like Lorna Shore
And then like,
Suddenly we're Dimmu Borgir.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then like literally
Yeah,
do
anyone with
and Behemoth. And,
yeah,
like,
it was like
But then like
Dimmu-
the strings and orchestrals and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
that was-
absolutely.
Yeah, like it's literally if you go listen to the Serpentine Offering by Dimmu Borgir.
Yeah, basically,
it
that's
is
exactly it.
that.
That's exactly it.
It's the
Spot on.
like massive orchestral, and then it's like
Satan. Yeah,
but not in that voice.
no, Satan.
something very Saxon.
oh,
I think that was more of like King Diamond, but
Yeah.
Abigail.
Yeah, please stop. Yeah, please stop.
that way.
But yeah, so that was basically the song. So as we tore it all apart, then we got this news. I went, "Oh my god, this is evil!" And I was like, "These lyrics just don't fucking fit." I went,
Yeah.
"Right, what can I pull from?"
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
The lyrics
said-
are
I
complete-
forgot we
lyrics are
No, that's what I
completely
said- that's what
rewritten
I
in the
said
studio.
before. Like,
bottom, wasn't it?
we
Yeah.
went, yeah, the lyrics don't really fit this song, and then Steve just went, screw it, right?
think
We're
it-
writing from scratch, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure you were just sat in the corner with a pen and paper while Bing was doing bass.
yeah,
Yeah, you were.
and
We just about got the guitars down, realized what we were in for. Bass was
Yeah.
going down, and you were sat in the corner, just like shit.
Yeah, I think you guys were like putting down the black metal section. It was like, oh my god.
And then
Yeah, that was
but because of the song getting completely restructured and the vibe completely changed, and so basically I went, I've got to pull some pretty dark stuff here, and that's why all the lyrical concept of it was essentially, it's a lot of like my own internal monologue of the fact that it genuinely feels like no matter how much goddamn work and progress I make, it's never going to be good enough, and it feels like I'm always like 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and then. It was referenced in a review that came out about the EP that essentially the lyrics towards as the black metal section starts, that it's more suicidal ideation, but the point was somewhat missed, that it's essentially, it's not me saying I'm going to kill myself. It is, if you want me dead, you have to come and do it yourself. Because it's like, hand me the noose, kick away the chair. It's like, no, you've got to make me do this. And then as it finishes, and the crescendo as it ramps and ramps and ramps and ramps, it's I'm still here, regardless of what's happening. Despite everything, I am still going to keep going.
That's it.
Obsessed, yeah.
Yeah, and that's essentially one of the main core concepts of the EP. It's not a matter of, oh, I'm really upset, it's time to unalive myself. It's no, I'm going to absolutely keep going until I'm physically cannot anymore.
That's it.
Right. Yeah. Other things to note about this song. This one, there was a lot of fun stuff production-wise that we did with this, especially like vocal productions.
Oh,
Is-
mate.
Genuinely one of the
Vocal
best
productions
vocal performances from you and Bing.
Yeah, and
by
and
far.
the stuff that Ben did with them. So
Mate,
like,
it was
with all
wild.
the like the weird panning of the voices and
Yeah.
like different vocal effects. That we,
Yeah, like-
we just went balls to the wall with production. Essentially,
So
with
much
this one.
going on with it.
It literally was. Once again, it was Dimmu Borgir. It's like the
Yeah.
spoken word bit was just like, it's literally the Serpentine offering, where it's like, it's, what's his name? Shagarath. And it's like, the vocalist name is Shagarath.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
It's
Black metal, Alex.
Not like Shagger. It does not mean that in Norwegian.
I'm sure it lives up to the name.
He probably does. Dimmu Borgir, fuck.
Top Shagger.
Surely a quality word.
I'm sure they'll love to hear that quick review of Dimmu Borgir. They fuck.
It was very similar to literally that entire album. It was like really clinically produced black metal, which is some of the better black metal because it doesn't sound like wank.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it was recorded in a bin.
Yeah, and it's very similar, like vocal effects to make it sound like very evil.
Yeah.
And it's like that was really cool.
Yeah.
Because to be fair, like Dimmu Borgir were one of like a formative band for me when I started getting into extreme metal.
Yeah.
Because that entire Insorte Diablo album, I was like, this is good. Like,
You can never be comfortable listening to that album. And I feel
No.
like that's kind of like what you
That's
always
kind of the
capture with,
point.
like the black metal stuff.
Yeah.
Is like you listen to that side of Oblivion, you're like, I can't really like
Yeah.
sit here and feel comfortable listening to this, but it's
Yeah.
still in grip.
yeah.
Like,
So
I think also because at the time, Lorna Shore had just released their new album.
yeah, Pain Remains.
Yeah, and me and Bing were really into it at the time, and still are. Like I think we maintained, like me and Bing is Lorna Shore is one of our favorite current bands at the minute.
Oh yeah.
And so
Phenomenal.
when we put this together, we were like, yes, let's do that. We're really excited. By
I mean,
it.
you can also reference some of the more recent Carnifex as well, because they went quite blackened as
yeah.
well. Like Drown Me in Blood from a couple of years ago, where they went proper just like, Satan, drown me in blood. It's like, so it is really cool. I think it's something where it's like, a lot of bands start referencing the same genre they're in. You need to start looking at other stuff. And I think us leaning into black metal, because
Yeah,
as we've established,
I was going to say I'm really excited to do more of that kind of stuff.
Oh,
So
yeah,
Oblivion to me is it's the most fun sounding to me because it's got the heavy riffs, like the metalcore heavy riffs at the beginning, and it's got the black metal influence bit at the back end, and I'm just excited to do more of that. I think I'm in my writing for the backings and the synths and everything like that, and I know James has got his black metal influences as well.
and also black metal is one of my specialist subjects.
Yeah, I
So
know.
it's not as if like
it's not like unknown to the band. We are very much aware of
Bing's
what
quite
they're
into
up
black
to.
metal as well. So it's one of those
So
like
it's- yeah.
when you go.
I was going to say, I feel like I'm going to lean into. I feel like this is the one that I'm going to lean into the style of most for upcoming stuff.
Oh yeah, because it's one of those.
Symphonic black
at the
metal,
same time, it's like I know we're a metalcore band that wear makeup and stuff, but it's not as if like black metal and stuff like that is a foreign concept that like we're coming in to steal because it's kind of like quote unquote a bit
Yeah,
edgy or
we're not
popular.
living in a vacuum. Like, this is the
That's
stuff we
it, but
listen
it's not-
to.
This
Like,
isn't the only thing we do. This isn't the only thing we listen to. We've
Exactly.
got all these other influences from elsewhere. Of course, we're going to pull them in. And
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is like
pinch ideas from them.
my
Yeah,
favorite
sure.
Behemoth song, which did get me into the pit of Bloodstock, is "Slave Shall Serve."
oh, I love
My
that song.
God.
Yeah, like, that is like-
punch a wall. To
Yeah,
the shit.
so
I
it's
get
not
it.
it's not as if like we're trying to steal from something we know nothing about. Because I do have a feeling at some point people will stop throwing that at us.
Yeah, especially the more we lean into it.
Yeah, but realistically, black metal is a really cool genre. Once you sift through all the neo-Nazis and
Yeah,
the
it's this thing with when you do your research and don't.
It can be a tough subject to dance around because there are a lot of black metal bands where you don't want to associate.
There is a
yourself
lot
with.
of shit. In
But
the
we're talking the more,
You gotta be
and
careful.
some black metal fans will hate me saying this, but we're talking the more mainstream black metal
Yeah.
bands. Like we're
Yeah.
talking Dimmu Borgir and
I mean,
Behemoth
I know
and-
this is going to be like this is going to be super controversial, but to be fair, as much of an actual fuck Varg is, the earlier Burzum stuff has some really good ideas on it.
Yeah.
That's why Burzum is one of the more.
You should see the face that James is pulling right now.
So the quote, as much of a dick as Varg is.
Yeah.
What?
It's
That's like
To
saying-
clarify,
I'm not a racist.
Varg Vikernes is a
That's like
piece of
saying,
shit.
like, no offense, man, but
Yeah.
no, it's more like if
Yeah,
if you think of like influential black metal bands, unfortunately
Burzum are
up
influential.
there. And I did go back and
Not
listen
for
to
good reasons,
to
necessarily.
the first time when I went, you know what, there is actually some.
there's an
like,
argument to be made here for separating the art from the artist. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%,
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's
Like the main thing to bear in mind is like with the black metal stuff that we've done and like the influences we've taken from that, it's all about capturing the energy, not necessarily like the essence or like the wording behind it.
Certainly
Oh,
not,
yeah,
the,
no,
certainly
yeah.
not the
It's capturing
ethics
that energy
sometimes.
It's the,
Yeah.
it's, the, it's, the,
Vibe.
it's the musicality.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's what we've
it's-
like tried to
musicality,
capture in this
atmosphere.
as opposed to like we're going to take the influences from like the lyrical behavior or like the influences behind that. It's
Well, I was
we
just
want
going
the
to
energy
say it's
and
like the
want
Michael Jackson effect.
that. Yeah.
Michael Jackson typically had very good music,
Yeah.
but he was Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
yeah, it's one of those bits like, but James was like, we're not looking to emulate this stuff. Like, we're not trying to be a black metal band, so
No,
we're not
no,
that.
no.
But,
It's
but
just those influences
There is
might
some
crop up
really
more.
cool stuff in that
and
genre.
I'm excited to lean into that. I
We
feel like
dipped
that's
a
gonna
toe
be-
in and then all went, ooh.
yeah.
That's it. We're always going to get the finger pointing saying, well, you guys didn't do this before, but you're doing it now. So who have you kind of stolen that idea from? It's like, well, we're not stealing the idea. We're kind of like branching out to something
I know,
different.
I've got
And we're doing
the
something a lot more
perfect
exciting.
counterpoint.
Let's have it. Let's have it.
I really like that Lords of Chaos film. That's when I discovered Mayhem for the first time. Collie Culkin's brother's great Euronymous.
Oh, God.
For the uneducated, please just do some Googling and come back to us.
Yeah.
We're not explaining that one for you.
But yeah,
That's a niche. That's a niche.
that is Oblivion.
Censor reference, though.
to sum up Oblivion, then. So it's the most reworked out of any of
It was
them.
reworked. It started as a punk riff, turned into a metal riff, and then
And
Satan.
we
black
added
metal
the
as
more
we started, like,
wild
with
and
the
more
producers.
left field.
Yeah, and it settled into one of the most solid, best songs on the EP.
Yeah,
I feel like-
exactly.
would it be fair to say this was probably one of the more fun ones? Like I think like this had like the best reaction in the room when we all first listened back to it.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, yeah,
This
absolutely.
is like this
Yeah.
is where we're going.
Yeah.
That was
It was
definitely
like a
one of the
real
moments for me, like
eye-opening.
listening back to that after it had been mixed and everything,
Yeah.
and having that moment of like, oh shit.
Wait,
Yeah.
hang on, that was me.
I know. I think,
shit, that actually sounds
I think we
really
were doing
good.
like a listen through. Boss Man was about to start his shift at the dog, and he came up and just went, "Listen," he went, "Fucking hell, boys," and just walked out.
Our manager walks in the room and goes, Jesus Christ, and just leaves. That's what I had to say was, you know.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
only thing you had to say.
So-
I think we'll
That's all we
find
needed.
you'll find anyone listening to it, and as we talk about these songs, there's very particular influences for each one that are quite different, which
Yeah.
makes
definitely.
in my opinion, the EP quite well diversified.
It's quite well rounded, right?
Yeah, it's quite
we've
well.
got
Yeah.
A different bit from each kind of.
And
part.
speaking of diversity, the next track on the EP, "Fears and Fractures," the title track.
So
Hey, I'm leaving this one to you, man. You've got
This is all you.
this was when Boss Man went, "We need another
we
song,"
need a
and we
fifth
went, "Oh God, what we gonna do?"
And so, so to start. We were in my studio. I think originally we attempted to do like another heavy one,
Yeah.
just quickly, like get
Yeah,
James
the
to write
initial
down a
one.
riff. We went, it's not quite working. I turned around to Steve and I went, "Do you want to do a sad one?" And to which he nodded.
I'm like, "Yeah,
Like-
I want to do it."
Steve is never going to say no to that one.
I think my response to that was genuinely, I just pulled out the intro riff like out of my arse immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I
did.
said, I want to play a sad one. And I was like, I've got you. I've been sat on this
Let's switch
for
to-
like
let's switch
3
to
or
the-
4 years of writing music to myself. I know the one. And then that was it. It just kind of
Let's switch to the
started
minor
from there.
keys. Let's switch to the.
Quick, flick the neural DSP over. We need to find a clean one. Oh God! And it kind of just spiraled out from there.
Well, so interesting things. We wrote this basically in a day, in like an afternoon
was
of
2.5
being-
hours front to back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This was so fast. I think
Yeah.
hands down, this was the fastest one.
More than
This was
likely,
so
yeah.
Yeah.
Some interesting things to note from me is throughout like the demoing process and we went. It's a bit of a power ballad. It's a bit of a darker. It's a bit. I'm not going to say softer, but it kind of
I
is
think we
in
said
a
it was
way.
just a
and
bit more White Snake, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's how we refer
But
to
we
it.
lent
At the time,
towards
yeah.
originally having this is going to be the one with like the clean vocals and the big chorus in it. But we very quickly discovered we wanted to lean more into like the clean vocals didn't really work for us in this kind of song.
We tried. There is a demo version where it's all clean in the chorus.
And it just
And there's also a demo
Didn't it?
version where there's a lot more brutal vocals from Bing in the background.
Yeah.
that didn't
Yeah.
make it
a lot more
onto
low end in
so
there as well. Yeah.
we eventually went, let's just make it an entire emotional screamer.
Yeah.
And that to me was very interesting how we very quickly switched back to the it's a softer one, but it's also still heavy.
Yeah, this was very easy to get like references for because I was just like, right, being as an ocean.
Yeah, being
which,
as an ocean was a big
perfect,
one.
yeah.
which is essentially spoken word poetry screamed over melodic hardcore.
Yeah,
and I was
exactly.
like, this is exactly the window where we're at. And Being as an Ocean are one of my favorite bands ever. And as Connor came to see them when we saw
yeah, I
them,
now fucking get that.
Connor gets it.
100%.
Yeah, full respect there, bro.
Yeah, I'd never really listened to them at all before. Holy shit!
See them
if you've
live,
not
they'll
seen them,
change your
see them
perception
live.
immediately.
Yeah, incredible.
But yeah, so it was one of which like we don't have to be too hard vocally, but it's got to have like the right level of grit.
Yeah.
But then it was like, right, what are we doing for the lyrics then? And then, funnily enough, so the full background on the lyrics, I do not give a shit talking about this because I know that I've been ripped on before previously. Where it's like, oh, you keep writing about your ex-girlfriends, which in fact is like, who doesn't? But it's not like I'm out to going, oh, I don't like women. I'm not the story so far, bruv. Whoa, shots fired.
Sorry.
Good art comes from pain.
Good
Like,
art
Yeah,
comes
no,
from pain.
that's true.
So
how it is.
the full background for the lyrics was I was seeing this girl who lived in Surrey. Boo, the South.
It is past the Watford Gap, bro. We
that's
warned
it.
you about it.
Yeah,
Come on,
look,
give it
look. I come straight out of the pandemic. I meet a girl at a festival who's really into me. I thought this was a great move. It was not a great move.
Anyway.
So the initial chunk of these lyrics were written as a love song of like, wow, this is what being happy feels like, and then it completely dismantled itself. Yeah.
Got him, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, Uno reverse.
It's not Uno reverse, bro. It was a +4. Fuck off. But yeah, so I then basically went, no, I'm still going to use these lyrics from the love song, but then because Bing was sat with me that day when we were demoing the vocals, and we went, right, we're gonna just tweak a few words, but for the most part, it is still technically a love song. The lyrics are exactly the same, but the tone shift.
That's
Yeah,
it. That's
Because
it.
as it comes into that drop, the spoken word bit was all by Bing on the day. He went, how do we go for the drop bit when it goes heavier? It's like, if we're going to shift it to make it like just go from like happy-ish to like, oh no. It's like, well, if we just went, well, to give you the world wasn't enough, wasn't it? And it's just like,
as a spoken word bit, I think that if I'm right in saying that was a Ghost Inside influence, wasn't it? That's kind of we kind of go, who does this? Let's find who does this and try and not copy them, but pick up on ideas. And we kind of went like Ghost Inside does it quite a lot, and they're very good at the I'm happy but I'm sad.
yeah.
Like, how has it been approached? How has it been
Like-
glued into such an aggressive piece of music?
then
How do you
yeah.
how do you get this kind of like drop out? And it's like we use that for a lot of reference, and I think Ben took a lot of reference from that. But yeah, we kind of warped into our own thing, didn't we? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but ultimately, the whole song itself is still technically a love song because that's why it ends. Where basically it's like a common theme in some lyrics where it comes back to, I am still good enough for this. I do deserve nice things. That's the entire thing. So it's never going to be like a full negativity. It's essentially going through those stages of emotions for a lived experience.
Yeah.
Which is something that, we've all fucking been there. Shit has gone wrong, but it has the capability to get better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
So on the other side of things, this was quite fun for me to work on for a backing standpoint because it meant I could again lean into the more real instrument kind of thing. So like your cellos, your violins, your string sections, your choir. I don't think we ended up putting choirs in it at the end, but it's
No,
that.
I think we took the choirs out,
yeah.
but it
But-
really opened up for you. In terms
Yeah,
of
really,
here's some
and
sonic space you can.
It's
play.
so playing around with like a minor clean riff, like stuff like cellos and that, like low down goes quite well with it. It kind of speaks sadness in a way.
We are a big fan of the orchestral.
We are, yeah,
as well, because we got the Spitfire, the BBC Spitfire Orchestra for free. Yeah. It was like, do this 5-minute serve and you get a free £80 plugin, and we went,
and that's when I got there. Is when I started messing around with orchestral stuff. Yeah. I think eventually I started getting more into Spitfire audio stuff. So shout out to Spitfire. Kind of wrote this record for us.
And also, to be fair, like for me, I think this is hard. It's either between this song and Oblivion.
Yeah,
but mainly for me because it's like, oh my god, I've done a sad power ballad. Let's go.
It's something I want to try and do more of. Like genuinely, Fears and Fractures is one of the most difficult ones to write for me.
Yeah,
just from a drum perspective, it's so open and
there's nowhere to hide.
There's nowhere to hide, but there's so a lot of how I write drums, it bounces off guitar stuff.
Yeah,
and a big part guitar-wise of this is the solo.
Yeah.
Oh no! I was about
to. We're gonna get to it because that came in like quite late in the process, and we're still trying to do drums before that. We'll get to that.
It was one of those things where, so knowing Connor quite well as a drummer, he's a Connor that likes to bounce off guitar things.
Yeah,
he likes his thrash metal side of things, and he likes his quick.
I like quick, fast, groovy.
Quick, fast, groovy, and then hitting hard. And then you give him a power ballad where you go, right, now don't really hit.
It feels unnatural to me to play that openly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's probably the best way to describe it, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. But like in terms of because Self-Destruction is a good example. Like talking about going the solo thing again.
Yeah.
We had that solo planned out before. So I've written the drums around that just to accent where things go. And because the solo came so late in the thing, and that's like the big sort of melody part for me, like big shrug. I was like very much during the process of it, like
I guess
it's
a tougher thing. So writing more like throughout this EP in some of the heavier songs and the heavier stuff, it makes sense that the drums go along with the guitars, and it's very rhythmic and it's very
I mean, it's metalcore classics.
It's very sort of like you kind of take guitar chugging is like you just add to it with kick drums and you add to it with snare, and it is very sort of
metal's very rhythmical music. You have that
has to be so locked in, right?
It has to be so locked in, and then you go
kicks, bass, and then the loads on the guitar all locked in together.
And then you give Connor a minute of solo where it's just like, right, Connor, we need you to kind of like step back a little bit here, but still also be present. It's like
which I'm absolutely fine with. I'm 100% fine with that. Like I said, I really want to dive into this kind of stuff more. I want to know what I'm trying to do because I want to try an accent and bring it up.
It's also,
I want to support
like,
it. That's the thing.
The keynotes are.
It was one of those, like I said, like the Sod's Law and like the Curtains. It was like it was difficult at the time. Brody was doing a lot of stuff, and it was hard.
There was a lot going on. There was a lot.
We won't go into him, but
it was like.
As you said, he was hard to pin down.
Yeah,
I think it's safe to say we recorded the guitars, got the bass down, drums mostly like 80% down, and then the last guitar came in and that last 20% of the record, and God, that was.
I'm pretty sure
it was a very awkward time.
The solo was the last thing we recorded for this EP. I'm pretty sure.
I think it was the last live recording we had, aside from like track stuff. And
but also,
stuff.
what a fucking result!
Daniel Theodore, lastminute.com. Time for one more pint. I can't find my clothes, Broadly.
Yes.
Oh my God, that guy is like. There is something clinically wrong with his brain.
The best way.
The guy has not listened to a single record that came out after the mid 2000s. He rolls. We finally pin him down, get him into the studio. He had thought about the solo, picks up his guitar and drops the most goddamn bullshit Whitesnake-esque 80s guitar solo I've ever heard in my life on a metalcore record.
But this is what he's very good at.
That's it.
Like,
that's him.
He is like the melody guy.
Yeah.
I am King Riff. He is King Melody.
Yeah. And this is basically why we brought him in to do the solo. We went. This needs a Broadly element to it, and
you can't do a power ballad without a big solo.
Sadly,
this is like the one he was excited for, right? This is the one that got him in the room.
That's it. Yeah. That's it.
It was
like everyone had a track that kind of like drew them in, but this is the one that got that.
Definitely.
I mean, honestly, the fact that it was like we just knocked the solo just knocked out the park, and it was just like, God damn.
Walked in, smoked a cigarette. 10 minutes later, walks out, smokes another cigarette, goes home.
Like, yeah, like
That was it. The
It's
solo.
insane.
That's the whole thing.
Are we-
I was in there for 2.5 days, ladies and gents.
yeah.
And that was it. And it's like, and as you listen back, that is just so dumb. There was very little prior planning. The guy just knocked a solo out.
He's just annoyingly great at guitar. Like,
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but he's such a good guitarist.
incredible.
Like when he really wants to be, when he's in the moment, he just smashes out this solo, and we go, "Oh, okay, never mind."
I guess you can leave now.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, so I think that's really, I think it's really cool. But also like the random other snippet about the song is, where did I get the name Fears and Fractures from? Because so
Name of the EP?
as you all know, I'm a big fan of BBC Radio 4.
well, now you know this.
Now you know.
We know.
If you've somehow avoided the fact that also as a band we listen to Radio 4 to listen to the shipping forecast driving back.
That is tradition coming back
And
from
we
gigs.
missed it for the last couple of times, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Sorry, you guys.
No, you guys missed it. Our
Yeah,
car,
we missed it.
our car never misses.
Look, we were in the middle of the Peak District trying to navigate that, so that's a different story for
Yeah.
a different time.
But yeah, so
Podcast news to follow.
so yeah, I was driving. I think I was literally. We were here working on stuff. We were at yours working on stuff, and I was driving back to my parents that night.
Yeah.
because it was about 10, 11ish when BBC Four starts getting like the weird
Oh yeah.
op-ed pieces.
You get like
More
the
eclectic.
Twilight radio where it's just a
Yeah.
little bit off.
And
base.
it was this lassie talking about how music can be used as a cathartic healing process.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. But it was referencing more like pop stuff and more like, not like pop stuff, more like avant-garde, weirder
Yeah.
stuff. But then there was this one phrase, as the woman was talking to one of these artists, it was her talking about her own experiences with writing music to help herself heal. And she essentially just goes, oh yeah, through fears and fractures, you can basically create new art. And I just went, I physically stopped my car,
Yeah.
whipped out my notebook, I went through fears and fractures.
That's
Yeah,
it.
And
that's
that was it.
It made
The
it
thing
to
is,
the
we owe
EP
copyright
title.
to Radio 4.
No. Legally, no.
No, 'cause it's
Stop that.
This is not a BBC production.
It just happened to be that as we were coming up with demoing this EP, I happened to be listening to the radio at the exact point where something very in line with our writing process and thoughts happened to be on the radio.
something just
and there was
clicked
just
with
a
you.
line. I went through fears and fractures. Like that is a line.
That's the one.
I was
yeah.
like, that is
Yeah.
such a cool
Definitely.
line, which then fed into the chorus being through fears and fractures, a new life can begin.
Yeah.
Which is
That's
essentially what the
awesome,
EP is about, because this is our massive rebirth as a band.
Yeah,
Definitely.
pretty much.
That's it.
So moving on then. Next up, we have Shame,
Hey, this is my
which,
baby.
which was essentially
This is my contender for like favorite
Maybe not
track.
pre-written, just about.
this was sort of like we didn't. Well, when I say we because I wasn't in the band technically yet, but I was. When James was asked to join the band, it wasn't like we didn't make him write a song, but James went, "Let me see what I can come up with on his own."
Let me at least make sure I fit in with you boys. I
And
think
it was between me and James sort of sitting down. He wrote like basically a jumble of riffs.
Yeah, I think I've got like 6. Let's pick one and go from there.
And
And,
I
then
went-
we
and
turned
I-
all 6 into one song.
Yeah, and I went right.
Amazing.
These are good riffs, but here's how the song should sound,
Yeah.
and sort of like placed them all together in an order. And
So I think anyone that's like written guitars and has kind of done this on their own in particular, it's so easy to just form like a riff salad. It's
Yeah.
just like you're
Yeah,
gonna get
it
one
is.
riff, and I'm gonna go from riff A to riff B, back to riff A, back to riff C, and then kind of like you build out
Yeah.
from there. It's like I'm gonna just
Yeah.
join riffs together. There's no real glue or anything like that.
No real production side of it.
Exactly, that's it.
Yeah.
And then sitting down with Alex, he goes, "Okay, cool. These are really cool ideas, and clearly you've like learned some of the Wolf stuff, and you can see the influences coming from that. Let's try and find some glue to put these together." And there's almost when you kind of stepped into the band as well. Really, it was like,
Realistically.
okay, so James is joining. He's got all these ideas. I need a bit of glue, but the instrumentation we have on hand, we didn't have Conno playing drums. We didn't have Dan around to play some of the bass. We didn't have the other guitarists around. So it's, what do we do here? And that's where you kind of came in and helped us glue some of those bits together and sort of stepped into more of like the producer electronic-y kind of role.
So-
And yeah.
I'm gonna ask you again because this is a pretty much a 90% James song.
Yeah, this song is full
Come
James.
on,
Do you want to tell us
Too
the
much
kind of
distortion.
influences you had around this one and who you were listening to at the time?
Oh, you know what? A lot of it at the time was a lot of like Bring Me Some Eternal. It sounds really
Yeah.
sad, but I went through a phase of listening to old
Absolute
albums
banger.
that really got me like towards the late of my teenage, and coming into Wolves as well. Okay, what do I see these guys in line with? And a lot of it was like early Bring Me, early A Day to Remember, early Parkway, that sort of thing. Just naming some of the bigger bands to kind of keep it a bit more generic. But yeah, bringing some of those in, and it was just
So
that was the main sort of.
So there's an interesting one about this one is that this was written sort of pre Wolves wanting to do like the going down the backing track synth route. It was
definitely.
written.
Yeah.
It
wasn't.
was written as a purely guitar, bass, drums,
Yeah.
and vocals
Yeah.
song.
Yeah.
It was not until we got into the studio where Ben, our producer, went, you know what, this needs.
Do you know, it'd be really good.
This needs to be on it. A really, really harsh industrial style. But it was like this needs a really, really harsh industrial style synthesizer.
Like the name of the synthesizer on the track in the Logic session is just Industrial Hell.
Yeah.
Because it was
Yeah.
Sounds
the
about
most
right.
jarring goddamn noise.
In
It-
capital
oh my God.
letters as well.
Without
and
any
it was,
EQing, God,
It was just-
rest your drums, like, good luck.
Oh god, it's like
It's a lot.
yeah, we've had sound engineers like think we've broken a system before with it. So
Sorry, yeah, we've got to put our EQ filter on 1 minute.
We forgot to turn it down.
yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lot of highs in there.
But yeah, so that's where it all came together because obviously, like the initial song, we have played this live, but not in the EP version, is because it was a bit
Not
more
in its
clear
full
cut.
version.
Not in
feel
its full
like-
version because also in the studio came. This is where Ben stepped in a little bit and went, "We're going to write an entirely new section for this song. Like,
Hey,
we're
look,
going
so
to break
we
this
have
needs an
industrial
extra
synths.
section to it."
yeah,
To break up the breakdown into the final chorus.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
yeah, we can change the front. We can do this. James, write a riff right now.
And that was a gun to the head moment, and I was just
Oh, it
sat
really-
there
it
sweating
really
bullets.
fucking
I've
was.
got like 2 hours left until I have to leave, and then that's it. I'm done for 4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. It was like
That's
one of
no
those
guitar
crunch
playing
last minute
with
things,
nothing.
and it just yeah.
And the riff can only be described as "Hell yeah, I love monster trucks and NASCAR!" Yeah!
It really was. It was like Florida
Honestly.
Man Wright's breakdown.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it was just monkey brain. Okay, here's what we've got so far. Close your eyes and just hit what feels good. And then working with Ben was just like an absolute dream to just kind of come up with that very, very quickly and chuck that together.
No, yeah, it was-
Yeah,
it
it's-
was-
Following the
and-
breakbeat section, like I said, a lot of the changes happened in the studio. A lot of the electronic stuff happened after the fact.
well, so
That was
again,
quite controversial in the band at one
this- yeah,
point.
this- I feel like
Oh, it was a
feel
point of
like
contention, wasn't it?
this one was this
Most
one
of these-
probably had like probably the second most influence from Ben on this one on
Yeah.
producer.
Yeah,
But this is why you
honestly.
should listen to producers as well because they have very good ideas.
The whole point of having a producer is you get someone who is their job, and also they're not in your band,
Yeah, they're not
which
in your
means
band.
they've not heard your songs a million times, and also their opinion is different to yours, and also they don't give a shit about your opinion half the time because they're gonna be like, no, I'm telling you, this sucks, do it better, and it's like, all right, cool, fair.
Yeah.
Like you need to have an external force. That's why some of the best albums ever written have been done, but like what's his face, Rick Rubin, who's
Rubin.
an absolute mad.
Throwing plant pots at people.
Yeah, the guy who was throwing plant pots at Joey Jordison while he was
Yeah.
tracking drums. That is the kind of people you want to work with.
Yeah, if you want this absolute mad lad who's just going to push you into the crazy situations.
I feel
that-
like opening those conversations with Ben as well, where it's like, look, Steve, if you're not just making the cut, we will find a taser.
Yeah, I was threatened.
There was no hesitation in that sentence.
Yeah.
You will find a taser.
like
yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
you don't sound fucking aggro enough on this vocal line. Do it the fuck again.
Yeah.
Can you go higher? Make it sound more like Dimmu Borgir. I'm like, all right, yeah. And it was just like. I like halfway through a line, it'd stop and go, no, shit, do it again. It was
Yeah.
literally like, there was no fucking shit cuts.
and it's what you need. Like
Yeah,
it
it's
works
absolutely
so
what
well.
you need.
like with the guitar playing as well, it was like that was the point I changed from using really light and kind of like flimsy picks
To
using
really-
just the
yeah.
thickest,
Yeah.
heaviest kind of like like the jazz 3.
And it really comes
and
across.
just down picking everything.
I'm just down picking everything because
Solidly.
you know what, no matter how hard I picked, no how much like I was putting into it, it was like no, hit harder,
Harder,
do
harder,
better.
harder.
Yeah.
And that was it. then it's just kind of taught me, it's like, right, I'm gonna have an RSI by the time I'm 50, guys. But
And honestly,
Worth it, man, worth it.
to be fair, those riffs in Shame, like the chorus riff is just so wage war, it sends me.
Simple.
Like
it goes so
that's
hard.
it though. They're the best
love
ones.
it.
That's why it's up there in contention for like best track for me.
And
I love it.
And to be fair, that 5-second monster truck 5-finger death punch riff.
Yeah.
As soon as we did it for the first time, I was like, I could imagine myself stood on stage with 5-finger death punch, just being like, yeah, support the troops, buy a truck. And it's like,
This is the full like where we need to get Alex a fucking keg and a baseball bat.
Yeah.
So this is where
This is where the pots and pans came from.
it's
wasn't
where-
it?
Yeah.
It's where, so this is where like my Slipknot influences come in. And,
That's it. That's it.
And listening to Slipknot, he's like, this sounds like an American like new metal-y / like hell yeah motherfucker riff.
Yeah.
And we went, what's gonna make this sound cool is like pans and pots and like kegs.
there was like a keg sample.
Again, leaning into like the industrial side of things, where you will have the industrial things will have like stuff hit with a baseball bat and some wood or whatever you in.
Really struggling that new metal and industrial kind of see where you got like your Nine Inch Nails and like just
that's
any of your industrial tunes.
Because there's like
really
constant
heavy
like undercurrent
processed
going
stuff.
through the song as well. Isn't
Yeah.
there? There's that.
And I feel like there's
it's
that
that low
synthesizer,
level. Yeah, like all the way through.
Just quarter notes and
Ding,
notes
ding,
throughout.
ding, ding,
It's always driving, and I feel like that was the first
And
song that
just-
was always pushing forward. It's like
Yeah.
a relentless.
It's
sense
another
of, like,
example.
momentum.
Yeah,
of-
relentless is a good word.
It's another example of the diversity that we put into this EP. Like it's another one that kind of sticks out a little bit, and you go, "Hold up a second, what did they do here?"
Yeah.
Like we didn't just stick with like the another metalcore thing. We lent into like the Slipknot. We lent into the
It's like sure,
like
we could
the
write
sim.
another generic metalcore song 101, or we could write another Oblivion where it's really similar and really bring me. But this was just
This one we just kind of we just lent into like let's just kick people in the teeth for like 2 minutes.
that's
And-
it. It's like, well, we've got the energy up. We're halfway through the EP at this point. How do we keep up? Keep kicking.
And
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
fair, like literally, like the other week, Wage War dropped a new song, and I just went, "This literally sounds like Shame."
People have beat us to releases, and I'm sat there going, "That was my song. I wrote it 3 years ago."
But it is,
It's not the first time Wage Borer have been accused of that though, didn't they? Because they also wrote an Architect's song.
yeah. I mean, and also to be fair, like
Wolves don't sleep. I mean,
I know.
well, I'm just saying we're in the same categories. Let's put ourselves
We
on the plinth
fucking
or anything.
wish.
Hold up a second. Did you just say architects and wolves don't sleep in the same sentence?
I mean, also,
derogatory sense either.
also to be fair, like Cody from Wage War does do a lot of writing for a lot of bands in the scene at the moment. So he's done. But yeah, I just thought it was really cool to go like, because I've been saying all along, I was like, this is a Wage War song. Then Wage War drops like some of the new stuff. And I went, that it is in the same league as like it's got like that fucking swing riff.
It sounds daft, but it's also cool to see that I'm sort of like headed in a similar direction to other people. Because I'm
Yeah.
kind of like, I'm picking up a lot of these influences. I didn't play guitar for a long time. I kind of like picked up after the fact. So after I have to take like 6 or 7 years off. And then having picked up with the metal scene again and picking up all these riffs and all these new artists, it's like we're headed in the same direction. I'm clearly on like the right trail, but I feel like we're doing something a bit more diverse and a bit more fun. So
Yeah. Which that's insane to me that you weren't doing it for so long.
I took so long off, and then I was
And
just like, "Hey, you want to join the band?" I was like,
you
"I've
come
not
in and
played
absolutely
guitar
fucking
in, like,
shredding
so
it,
many years,
and
man.
it's
Let's
like-
just do this. Why not?"
Yeah.
That's why it's all quite caveman and like monkey brain riffs.
Oh, yeah.
I love it though.
Just you wait. When I start getting my chops back up, this is gonna be fun.
Which is terrifying.
Shit, I thought I won my game.
we all do, which is the whole point.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Like,
This
this is,
is like new start for it.
It's-
we'll talk about it in the wrap
This
up, I
is,
imagine.
this, is our
Like,
this is our stepping off point. This
yeah,
is-
that's essentially it.
This
Like,
is platform 1. Yeah.
but yeah, so that is track 4, Shame. Lyrically, because we spent a lot of time talking about the technicality.
track 4,
stuff
yeah.
there. Track 4.
This is
Track 4 was the working title of Shame, man.
04,
It was
wasn't it?
Untitled 04.
title was Untitled 04.
Untitled 04.
But yeah, so then like lyrically, this was like another one which is kind of like me looking back at a lot of my previous stuff, and it's basically like, because sometimes I like with my anxiety and stuff, I kind of feel like I could have done things differently, which is something that I have been working through, and I'm just got to the point where it's like, yeah, it's fine, like once again, it's like rinse repeat of like I keep getting to a point and then fuck it all up again. And it's essentially going through like I feel like I haven't properly healed yet, but this is the point where I kind of go, yeah, things have changed and they have gone wrong, but I have to basically move on past it, which is once again, it's the same as Oblivion. Get to the back end of the song with the fucking breakdown, and it's just like I will live a life of love Anger has no place in me, just the warmth of dying stars, which I basically ripped that line from a fucking Spirit Box because it just sounds fucking cool. Not like line for line. But it's no, because I was listening.
We're fine.
I was listening to a lot of Spirit Box at the time, and what song? It Circle with Me.
Adjacent.
Yeah, it's like I have the power of a dying sun. I was like, all right, that's fucking just like the imagery.
Anything like celestial imagery is always really good. It's
yeah.
always good.
I mean, it's better than like ocean imagery.
That's the thing.
Which we had a lot on Clarity for some reason.
Lots of drowning.
Lots of water.
We've evolved.
Current.
We've gone from boats to space.
Yeah.
But what are we rising from, Steve?
Well, what are we rising from?
Yeah.
We're turning into moles for the next.
Speak of underground metal.
I've got absolutely nothing to say to you, James.
This is peak podcast content. Thanks for listening to the Wolves Don't Sleep podcast. We won't be doing another episode.
But yeah, so that was basically like the concept lyric. It was just like, it's basically just another set of like, I'm restarting and I'm gonna do fucking better.
Yeah,
That's
nice.
essentially it.
Yeah.
But yeah, once James composes himself, we'll move on to that
I'm
song,
on it. I'm here.
So moving on to the final track of the EP,
which is Built on Sin.
Built on Sin, which I was going to call it by its working title.
Same. It's so hard not to, isn't
It's
it?
so difficult to not call this one for what it is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how this
doing it.
song was no, I'm gonna say so how this song was written.
For context.
For context, we were having a writing day at James's. As I got in my car to drive to James's, I remembered that the new Trivium album in Court of the Dragon had dropped. So I spent the entire drive to James's listening to In Court of the Dragon.
Got 2 songs.
Got into James's house.
Should also give you an idea as to how long ago this EP was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we were working on it. Yeah.
Fancy's dating it. Go ahead.
But yeah, I got into James's house and we sat down and I just went, "Yeah, the new Trivium, right?" And you were like, "No." I was like, "Right, let's put on In Court of the Dragon, it bangs." And then we went, "We could probably do something like that, couldn't we?"
I've listened to trivia maybe twice in my lifetime. I was like, I think I roughly know what these guys sound like. I remember Matt Heafy being stood by a flaming fire, like a flaming swimming pool.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
something or
Anthem
other.
Into the Fire.
That was,
From,
I remember like a video from way back in the Krang days. Like, I know what trivia sounds. We got this. Legitimately, I think it was about 5 minutes later. We had the main riff.
That was it.
Chorus,
It was
and then
immediate.
you guys, I think we had Connor and Bing turn up like a couple
Well,
of
so
hours later.
so this was I turned up last. I want to say,
I think
and this
you
was
were
like
like-
after
like even
this.
Dan would be like Dan was down.
Yeah, this is what I mean. So I turned up like maybe 2 hours after they'd started, and they were like,
It
"We've
was
got."
basically done.
They were like,
Yeah.
we've got a song." I was like, "Okay, cool, never mind." Like,
We might need to re-record some bits, we might need to go over it.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
very much a case
the
of
core
okay,
of the song was done.
Yeah.
we will
Yeah.
take,
I mean,
Yeah. The
like,
bones of
this
it.
kind of style from this kind of band and give me a reference, and that's kind of like just. I think that's like the sentiment for like most of the EP is like.
I
the way
think-
write is I get a reference.
think
and
at the
work
start-
from
Yeah.
that.
You'd noodled the bit that
I definitely
towards
been
the
messing around
end.
with that riff. I had like the rough structure of it,
Yeah,
like, where I want to
the
go.
bit Yeah, that was
The fucking hook. Yeah.
on the way home.
Everyone went home singing that.
On the way
That's
home,
it.
we would then ping voice notes in the group
Yeah.
chat of us singing a different
We were
bit
doing
of
that for
riff.
weeks.
It was,
Oh, it must have been about 2 weeks. Where
Yeah.
it was,
Yeah.
like, intermittently. Getting back at 3 a.m. from when Connor had finished or I'd finished a night
Yeah.
shift or whatever.
it was like a
So
few weeks
annoying.
of like you would get a voice note from a group chat and you would immediately go,
You know what it is.
No.
You know what it is.
it was like,
Somebody voice noting one of our riffs. Like, damn it.
but I mean, that's a testament to the fact we've got something.
We've got a good riff. We've got a good riff here.
That was the
because-
point, right? We finished that. Everyone, it got stuck in everyone's head, and we all went home and goes, we don't care if we hate this. This is going on the EP.
Because it's in all of our heads,
Despite
yeah.
the fact we hate it. Well, I guess
Who hates it? I fucking love it,
So,
mate.
it's just so catchy. We were like,
No, we only
just
hate
had
it
to do
from the
it.
week's worth of voice noting.
I hate it in the context of WhatsApp.
Yeah.
I think I genuinely need to start asking other bands that were mates with them, be like, do you guys do this with the stuff that you write?
Honestly.
It's
like-
a bit weird.
A bit.
It's the answer to that question, James, is inherently yes.
Yes, we are.
Yeah,
Like, I
should
genuinely feel like the lads in 7th C don't do this. Like,
I don't know. I reckon they're gonna have
feel
a
like if
laugh.
there was like a band to do it, it would probably be Seventh.
yeah,
I don't think
I
there's
feel
many.
like they're
there-
just kind of like.
I don't think there's many other bands that like live 2 doors down from each other.
No, this is true.
that's true. That is.
We're
show
in
up
very
at your guys'
we're like
house
close
and
proximity all the time.
I ran into Connor in the middle of a road the other day.
Yeah, literally. I was coming home
We stopped crossing the road to be like, "Hey man, what's up?"
in the middle of the road.
Insurance
Yeah.
details and everything was fine.
But yeah, so that's how the song started, and then we took it to the studio, and we were like, we kind of want. I fucking hate you.
James has gone again.
We kind of wanted like clean. Once again, this is the one where we tried clean vocals.
Yeah,
But-
we felt like
it was a tricky one.
Oh, yeah, I
wasn't
forgot
it?
about
It was
that, yeah.
still-
So,
we
thi-
did have a
so this
section
brings
with it.
in another influence from another, possibly couple bands, where we tried the clean vocals at the end of the track. It felt very anthemic.
Oh no, I'm talking about just the chorus. At the
Oh,
moment.
okay.
We'll get to that. So this is the only song on the EP that has clean vocals in it, because it was the one where it worked the best. It did take us a while to get the lyrics right, because me and Bing were bouncing back and forth a lot of
It
ideas,
took us a while to get the style of the
Yeah.
the style of the vocals
and
right
to get
as
like
well.
the cadence and stuff right.
Yeah.
'Cause I will shout out Ben, because he was like a massive help with the lyric writing. So because he come up with like random one-liners, or go, oh, how about you try this a different way, which is really, once again, a producer is really good.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, yeah,
felt
yeah.
very cutthroat with you guys as well. He's like, he wasn't afraid to go, that is shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause-
Right.
and he'd be like,
And
that,
it was
Well-
just no bullshit.
he'd be like, that
Basically,
line
that
is
was all of
white.
Oblivion.
Well, yeah, harking back to Oblivion, he
Yeah.
basically just went,
This isn't good enough.
These
Sorry,
lyrics
this is a
don't work
half-baked
with
idea.
this song.
We're trying again.
Yeah, do it again.
Which is honestly what you need. And the fact
But
it
props
took,
to you for basically turning around and be like, okay,
Yeah.
let me
Well,
rewrite
that's the
entire
thing,
song.
like-
Something with it is an
Honestly,
artist.
Kill your
Like,
darlings.
Slack and go, all
That's
right,
it.
let's try plan B. Let's try that.
what is the point in me trying to die on a hill if someone outside of my own ego doesn't think it's good enough?
Exactly.
Because that means that I'm still got a lot to work as an artist and a lyricist, but it also means like the whole point of working with our unit of 6 people, and also
This thing is
any
why it's a band,
producer,
it's not- yeah.
is if something's not good enough, then it's not going to be good enough for the general public who listen to it. So we need to make sure that we're the best that we can be.
Yeah.
I'm happy to throw away everything and start again,
Yep.
which is what we were doing with these lyrics as well. The lyrics for this song were really difficult to write. We had the concept, and I think I'm really good at writing verses. I fucking suck at writing choruses.
I think
because
choruses are the hardest bit. Every
Choruses are difficult, man.
It has
It's like
There's
you
a
have
lot
to
of
be
pressure
so
on a
That's
careful
why
because
the
it's
EP has about 2 choruses in
Yeah.
the whole thing,
Yeah.
including repeats.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's not because we don't like choruses. In fact, that's just how the songs flow naturally.
Yeah.
Uneven song structures are a thing that I'm a fan of, because when we started getting into Sepultura and
Yeah.
stuff, and other bands, like uneven song structures work, because instead of going right, every metalcore band ever is verse, chorus, breakdown, chorus.
Yeah. It's the ABAC.
Yeah,
like the
we
pop-
can't
It's the
do
whole
that.
thing you see in metalcore. It's like it's pop music, but it's metalcore.
It's the thing. It's the thing
ABAs.
about pop song structures that I learned at GCSE music, man. Like
Exactly.
it's the here's how every pop song goes, and we don't want to do that.
Yeah, like
essentially.
We appreciate it works, but we're gonna
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
take
It's a
step
great
from that.
system, but
we
other options exist.
a lot of our stuff is literally vibes only. If we think there's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
vibes,
If it doesn't feel good, we ain't doing it. I
Right.
think
Well, that's the
full
thing.
stop,
It
right?
gets to pass in our little fishbowl of the 6 of us, and then it's a producer when we're in the studio, and then
or like we got demos. To be fair, all the demos that they were done, they were sent to our manager Ash,
Yeah.
and he went, "Yeah, these are good."
Yeah.
He went, "This is good."
yeah,
And,
it gets bounced around and
Demo
like
bounced back to his issue. It's kind of like, this one could do with some work.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
again Oblivion.
Oh, that was
Again,
it,
we
yeah.
just
Yeah.
fully dismantled it. We
Yeah.
tried it again.
But that's the thing
That's
is like
But
we
he was
actively
honest.
work with people. Once again, that's the whole point of us having a manager.
Yeah.
It's to basically help guide us. And Ash
everything the
absolutely
best it
fucking
can be.
rips on guitar as well.
oh god, he's
to someone-
Much better than me.
incredible.
Like, if I put up a guitar part past Ash and he turns around and goes, "Mate, you can do better," I know I can fucking do better. It's
Yeah.
like he will tell me straight, and I will just work.
Which is what you need.
And that's what you need. You need an honest voice.
Yeah,
right?
you need
someone
people-
That's it, that's
stern.
it.
You need a parent in that room going, I know you're capable of better. Show me better.
Yeah, which is good. Which then, obviously, as this was going on, we then got to like, how are we ending this song exactly?
Yeah,
because once again,
well, to the bigger picture, how do we end this EP? I think we already knew that this
We
song
knew it
was going to be
the
the
end.
end of this EP.
Yeah.
This was from the beginning. This was going to be the end, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Because
Just the
it's
scale of
going to be
it.
the finale.
yeah, it's like as we were writing, we kind of saw as the songs were coming together whereabout they sat on the EP.
Yeah. It all
so
just
we-
sort of flowed
It's a
naturally.
natural flow, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't have to think about
Yeah.
it. It just came. And we
I
all
think
said,
the
"This
order.
is
I think
way."
the order of the EP came together pretty quickly like that because we just
It was
went.
a 5
We
minute
knew that House
conversation.
of Glass was going to be the first song on it. We knew that Built on Sin was going to be the end of it. We knew that the others, that Fears and Fractures would have to sit in the middle because it's a nice break.
Yeah.
and then
And it's
I
like
think the
Shane's
only point.
picking back up that
I
energy.
think
Yeah,
the
there
only
was a
points
minor
of
debate.
contention was swapping Oblivion and Shame around.
Yeah.
And
There was a minor debate in
realistically,
it.
they
Yeah.
would have worked either way around. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
They're still interchangeable.
Yeah, I still feel like you could swap those two around, and the EP would just be just as tangible as it is now.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so and it was like, well, how are we going to finish it? And we were just like, well, we've all listened to Parkway Drive's Deep Blue, yeah.
Yeah.
And more,
Yeah.
well,
A
to
few
be fair,
fans.
more recently, so the other influence in this bit, and we are talking about, if you've listened to it, there's a big gang shouty bit,
Yeah.
gang shouty bit at the end that kind of tails off, and it's very, more recently, probably While She Sleeps is the influence on.
My guys.
It is very much like Parkway Drive Sleeps. Like it's very much like because we did reference like it was
So we're looking at You Are We for a lot of it. And then
You Are We and
Oh,
also Seven Hills.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, that big
but
gang
It's, like, it's the
vocals.
very raw gang vocals where it's just five guys recorded 20 times over.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Recording the same shouts. They
we,
just sound so full and
We tried to reference that for a potential for the chorus as well. I remember
Yeah.
us doing that. Going back to it took us a while to find the style or like the vocal style for the chorus because we toyed around with doing it gang shouty.
Yeah.
versus
Yeah.
shouty were
More
full aggressive,
cleans,
full clean, and
yeah.
none of those kind of worked. It was like finding a hybrid of all the above.
Yeah, so
Kind
that's,
of did
that's,
the trick.
that's why the chorus is a mix of Bing doing cleans and me doing harshes over the top of it, where it's kind of like both of them are a bit more pulled back
Yeah.
to give a bit more of like breathing room for
There's
the
more
vocals.
layers to
There's
it.
more layers
That's
to
it,
it.
that's it.
Because that's the thing as well, is like it's a lot of the lyrics vocals don't always have to be at the forefront of songs. I think that's the thing that comes along too often where it's like vocals over everything, then everything else is in the back.
It's the pop and like, just the popular music.
Yeah.
world. Lyrics are first.
Whereas like it's vocals are still an instrument at the end of the day, so having them blend in, it works better because we are still trying to move into doing cleans. It's something that Bing is quite good at, but we haven't quite nailed writing songs.
He's very
with
good.
it.
He's not very confident.
Yeah, and like I'm not super confident with that.
Getting
speed.
better confident.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting better
And-
confident,
and that's
absolutely.
essentially-
Because he's a
Just
phenomenal.
you wait 2 years from now.
Well,
That's
like,
it, that's
we're
it.
not going to force ourselves to do something which doesn't feel comfortable because then you're going to have an inauthentic product and it's
That's
going to
it.
sound wrong.
It's got to sound real and genuine.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
So
so
I-
we've got to be able to feel it.
We lent into our strengths with this one.
Yeah.
We realised that.
Now's the comfort zone barriers.
Yeah.
No, that's it. That's it.
So we realised that certain things weren't going to work for us doing it, and so we chose to go in a different direction.
Yeah.
We're not saying it would have been a.
frames that we had.
Yeah.
We had like a 3-month condensed period and 1 month for cleanup. It was
Yeah,
it was
it was-
not enough time to do what we had to do.
No, but the fact that we ended up where the song starts to fade out and then it comes and then Ben was just like, "What if we did massive gang vocals?"
Yeah.
and that's where the song title came from because that was something that Ben came up because we were coming up with the. I was like, we need something to
It was
chant.
also his
Yeah.
idea to switch up the mood of the EP.
Yeah.
we switch. This song
like
was
very
this
somber
this
finish,
this song.
wasn't it?
The end of
Yeah.
it was a switch up to a positive ending to like it was. Like I said, this EP is like our stepping off point. It's like a positive stepping off point.
That's it, that's
and
it.
the end of the EP is a very positive ending message.
Yeah.
It does
To
end like
it-
major. It's kind of like building up from there, and yeah, it's just like this is like a sounds daft. This is like a rising point. This is like a platform for us to build.
what are we
off.
rising?
What was it from, James? What are we rising from?
I knew it was coming. But this is like the platform for us to like build from. This is like the new standard as to where Wolves is, and it's like okay, let's build up from here. You don't want it to just be really crunchy and heavy and low. You want to ascend into something else. So.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, because like leaning back, because I've just pulled up the lyrics for reference again. Yeah, I don't fully remember all my lyrics all the time. Leave me alone.
We don't.
God damn it, Steve. Come
These
on.
ones haven't hit muscle memory tenure yet.
Sake.
But essentially,
Vocalist man. Who doesn't know all of their parts?
but yeah, so we're like, moving on to lyrics and stuff. It is, you are right, because like the whole concept behind these lyrics and stuff is very similar to like House of Glass. It's very much just like, we have a lived experience of being in a band for a while, and it generally felt like we were stagnating and genuinely struggling compared to the past couple of months. Like I said, we got offered a main support stuff and dropping House of Glass because we've stepped up again and go, no, we are fucking worth this now. We're actually worth people's time and attention. Definitely. And the whole concept of it is it's very similar to the end of the last EP, Forest Fire. It's very much just like, we are not going to stop. No matter what happens, no matter what you throw at us, this band is going to keep on keeping on.
Yeah, that's
essentially it. Like, we're not going to stand and watch it because we've worked too hard, and no matter how much we feel like we're not worth it, we're still going to keep pushing because we deserve something better than this.
Absolutely.
And that's why when Ben came up with the final, the lyrics are like, in a world so built on sin, remember that love always wins. Because it's not just about us, it's about everything that's around it. Because everything can feel like pretty fucking shit.
Gotcha.
But when we're in the room together and it's us 6 boys, nothing feels like shit.
No,
That's the
man.
thing, like,
No,
oh,
absolutely
like,
not.
Like 100%, like independent, we all have our own like mental things going on. Like
We're all
we
broken.
we
Speak-
really
speak,
do.
speak for yourselves, boys. I'm golden.
Narcissism being one of them. No, but my point being is like we're off on like listening, doing our own things in our own space, and can be feeling shit about it. Then we all get together, and it.
I always have a good time with you boys.
Mate,
That's
honestly.
my
feel
point.
like
That's my
what
point.
this band
It's
has
that
become,
180
this
shift.
EP is like built that is.
Yeah.
We can't have a bad time as long as we're all in a room.
Even-
If
That's
having
it,
a bad
that's
time
it.
is
Even
like
when
the-
we
I've been having shit days. I've come and met you guys to do something, just
come
hanging
back from
out.
work and it's like snap.
And
you
it's-
are back into
yeah.
fun kind of, and it's like it's really great to see that.
It's
Like,
so
a
much
few
more fun.
hours and just
Yeah.
like
Even
getting out
in
of that shell
like
for a
the
bit.
contentious points throughout recording the EP, there were only a couple of them. But after like the end
Hey,
of the
like,
day,
I've had
when
some
we
times I've been
when we
Yeah.
when we come out of like the end of that process and we finally made a decision, we were like, right, boys, should we go pub then? Like,
Yeah.
should
Yeah,
we?
yeah, yeah.
I feel like the main thing to bear in mind with this band is it's always been first and foremost is like a group of mates, and like the music
Absolutely,
comes
yeah.
second, but then the music comes naturally because we're a group of mates, and it's just a laugh, it's just
Yeah.
fun,
And it goes-
it's
and
just
it goes back
genuine
to-
and exciting.
It's mates
for
with a
all
joint
of us.
hobby.
That's it, yeah,
It goes.
exactly.
It goes back to that's why in the last 2 member changes for this band, one being James, one being me, there was never a contention for any other members to join the band. There was no thought behind it. We went,
Not at all.
James is sick. He plays guitar. Get him in. Alex is
think,
basically. I've basically
You were
been
already
around.
there, yeah.
We need someone to play the synth parts. Get him in. Like
Yeah.
We were effectively both sat on a sofa at some point or another. It's just like, right, do you want it?
Yeah.
Cool. Come have some fun. And it's like, just keep doing what you're doing. Come hang
Yeah,
out with us.
'cause-
But we've got now like
Yeah.
a common aim of making some music.
Yeah, we're just going to still hang out, but just play music
We
together.
get to
That's-
make music
that's
together.
the
We
thing,
get to go
'cause, yeah.
play to people and have fun. And it's
Yeah.
fucking excellent.
We have with
I
the amount
love
of
it.
with the amount of member change and stuff that we've had over the years of where we started to where we are now, because it is literally only me and Connor left from
How
the
long does
original
it take to
lineup.
hire 6 people that aren't dickheads?
It's because it's not even like any shade in anyone
It's
who
like
has been in the band.
The
Like,
exact right like flavor of dickhead that we
Yeah.
all just bounce off each other. That's what it is.
because that's the thing from like the first few guys who were in the band is like either they weren't committed enough or they weren't really that bothered or they were doing other things and then they just changed their mind but didn't want to actually say they changed their mind and then just left really abruptly. And then it's trying to find people that you get on with but also actually give a shit.
I feel like there's a lot of bands that you could look at that have had member changes, that have had lineup changes, but there is always that one lineup that everybody remembers them by.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's various bands like, so for instance, like the one I think of and the one that's been said before is Lorna Shore. Lorna Shore, I reckon, at the minute is the lineup that they are
It's
going to
gonna
be
be.
remembered by.
No, they've had tons of vocalists and I've known of Lorna Shore for years.
I've been call about for like near enough the past decade, right?
Yeah, like Lorna Shore have been
they've
around
had, like,
forever.
But this
Yeah.
is what I mean.
vocalists.
But
Yeah.
who are they going to remember them by? The two that have
All right.
Will fucking Ramos.
Will Ramos.
That's fucking insane,
It's like
lad.
you look at
Yeah.
so many of these deathcore and like metalcore bands. This is like, God, they've gone through so many vocalists or so many guitarists or whatever else, and you just look at them and think, but they all just still shred. They're all just still human beings
Yeah.
behind it. They're all doing the same thing.
That's
but
it.
it's like you usually solidify a lineup with it, and I feel like with Wolves at least, this is going to be the key line.
My
Yeah,
my point being, I feel like
long
Majority
time.
of it is this is like probably. I don't want to sound like selfish, like coming into it, but listening to the Clarity EP and the Monster EP beforehand, it felt like kind of disjointed. And like,
Oh, you know,
It was disjointed.
100%.
It's
100%.
kids in school making a project, whereas this is the first thing. That
That's the thing,
Wolves
like,
released where it
that's-
sounds. This is adults.
But that's precisely where it
doing what
started.
they want to do.
Not
It's
necessarily
genuine.
specifically with Wolves, but that's me and Steve at the start of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
playing
but
together. It's in
so
school.
my point being
And then
is
it's
that
grown from that.
I feel like we're at that point now that this is going to be like the lineup and the version of Wolves that continues on and
Yeah.
everybody
Here is,
remembers it for.
No, because
Like your
I'm,
pre-season, you've got your main season now, and then it's just.
But that's the thing, like,
We're in
and
the
again,
end
there's
game
no
now,
point in
boys.
being
This
bashful of it. Like,
game.
one of the big changes of it, particularly with this EP, is James.
Yeah.
Like we said,
it's like
80% of the work on this,
with
is
with
you.
comparing Clarity to Fears and Fractures. Two of the songs, by the time Clarity went to record, two of the songs on it were written by previous members.
Yeah.
For some reason, we just couldn't, that lineup at the time, we just couldn't between us manage to fucking,
Just replace those two songs with something else. So it was.
but no,
yeah.
we had so much trouble
Writing.
writing.
Is that it?
Yeah.
It was genuinely. 'Cause
Yeah.
Have you not seen this like whole thing before?
No, literally,
no, it
we
was-
just couldn't,
Every time we tried to, it was.
we weren't happy with
have,
the results, or like it just
on the
wasn't.
on the one side of it, like we have the in-house like setup now. Like we can get everything done.
Oh, we can
Way
can
easier.
cook within our own like front room.
That's
It's-
it.
it's so having
So at
known,
the time, we're paying for a practice space, trying to write these songs, and when things just don't flow, because that happens.
Yeah.
I
you know,
suppose, yeah, when you're on the clock and you've got
when you're on the
people
clock that
you're
you're
not
paying
really,
for
like,
it,
friends
when nobody's
with
got
so
that
much,
much
it's not
money.
genuine.
It's
Yeah.
essentially like,
you're paying to hope something sticks.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the lineup at the
With
time
a
is like,
jam, it's like
people were pulling in different directions, which led to a lot of contention of stuff not being done. But we had to still release something, otherwise
Yeah,
nothing
I
was
think there
going
were
to
like
get
three
done.
different directions going on at one point, and it was just like,
Whereas now,
well,
like,
we've got like 12 different directions, but we're all willing to compromise and kind of like meet in
And
the
also the
middle
way
kind
that
of
it's like-
area. It's
That's
like,
it,
okay,
that's
why
it.
not mix
and,
this?
and
Have
we've
some
also
fun with
turned that into a strength.
but again,
That's
I think
that's
that's
exactly
again
what I'm
one of the
saying. It's like,
revelations
we're
of this EP.
That is no
Yeah.
longer a problem.
Yeah.
That is now kind of a strength in the sense.
Yeah,
It's,
Cool.
That-
Let's
that's-
make fun of that, and if it doesn't work, well, we've got another track with another riff. We're good to go.
That's the
another
opportunity
song.
that we
and
can
it's also the way that,
fully
because like
capitalise on.
you and Alex writing Shame was like Alex can produce. When I came around yours and we
Just
built,
turned up with the fucking
Um,
EP.
yeah, and we
Honestly,
did
like-
build on Sim where I sat with you and I went, "Can you do me this that sounds like this?" And you go, "Diddle-diddle." Like that's how that song was written. I was sat next to you going, "Right, I've got this idea. Do you reckon we can do something like
It's
this
like, I
next?"
know you hate doing this, but let's just do this.
Yeah,
Bam.
and
it just works.
because
It's like
I'm
having somebody to prod me with a
because
stick.
I am quite good with, I understand structures and how things should go, but I do not have the guitar ability.
I am very similar.
Yeah.
like we said,
feel the
like we
same.
said with Shane. James
Bullshit.
wrote all the riffs, but I put the structure together
Yeah,
of that
it's-
song.
Yeah.
And the fact that we've kind of developed what we joke as the wolf's hive mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Where we can finish either the sentences or we know exactly what
Yeah.
we're thinking. We've kind of hit a point where like you're right. This is the definitive lineup now because we all work together really well.
Yeah.
That's what we've been missing for the past couple of years. Like it's not saying that any previous members were any better or
not
any
at all.
worse.
Not at all.
It's just the collective of who we are as people just didn't quite fully fit.
yeah,
yeah.
But now it's like
And I was like, I just want to come hang out with you guys. And it's like, it's genuinely, I just want to hang out with, and you guys want to hang out with us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then music kind of happens as a byproduct of that, as opposed to,
Yeah.
let's artificially go and write music.
Let's go and
together
force
with
ourselves to do it,
friends
make it-
try and make a friendship
Yeah.
group. It's like, if music doesn't happen, I'm going to sit here and crack a few tins and watch the X Games with you guys. Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
it.
Just
That's
chill.
it. We
And
can
it's
have a
like-
laugh. Yeah,
You
and it's
know,
like-
exactly.
it's like I can do that and have fun, and that's
and
what
it's
makes it
like
different.
no one
Yeah.
member writes an entire EP then goes, no, the EP will stay like this. This is my thing. Fuck the lot of you.
Yeah.
It's because I'm like, oh yeah, that's a pretty good idea. But what if? And
It's
then
like you go to bed that night, you can't sleep. It's 2 a.m. Your thoughts are reeling, and you're like, I've just come up with the best idea I've had in 5
the
years.
2 a.m.
Yeah.
Dishwasher rhythm.
Dishwasher rhythms.
So I was
You guys have to wait out for that one, and the Hastings direct rhythms will be coming. Trust me, you'll know them when you hear.
so essentially one night I was when this is where I still lived with my parents.
So dumb, I love it.
And I went down to the kitchen to get a drink, and it was like 2 a.m. and the dishwasher was on. So as I was like,
I was in bed with my phone on loud.
first of all, that's your own fault for having your phone on loud. So essentially, I just went. I was getting a beer out the fridge or whatever, and like the washing machine was like going like, dun, 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 dun. And I was like, "Yo, James, listen to this, yeah." Just got a voice note.
Hey Marv, this is the coolest shit I've heard in years. Check it out.
I'm pretty sure that was War Pigs as well.
I think that was War Pigs, but whatever the fuck I said, James.
Whatever he said was much different. It was Sleepy Steve with a beer in his hand listening to his dishwasher. War Pigs.
Or like when I was walking home from the shop the other month listening to the Thomas Harkey interview on Danny P. Carter's podcast, I went, hey James, I'm really sorry, but I've got an idea for a sugar riff. And I just sent you a drum track and I was like, I'm so sorry.
I fucking love that.
That was
I love the
special, I'll tell
sugar.
you that.
Special's the right word.
This is what I'm saying about the right flavour of dickhead. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you gotta have the right level of.
But yeah, so
Speaking of hive mind, we've been on one hell of a tangent
Yeah.
together.
Oh god,
But
yeah.
I think that basically.
No,
No, we got to build on
just got
sin. We
through
got to
build
build
on
on
sin.
sin.
Yeah.
We got to build on sin.
But yeah, I think that rounds everything up. So yeah, that's been Fears and Fractures. That is 100% full breakdown.
We hope you guys are enjoying it as much as we are.
Yeah, please go listen to it if you
genuinely
haven't
enjoyed
yet. And I think Connor, give us an outro
No.
in a bit, internet.